Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Average Film Enjoyers podcast, your favorite podcast, hopefully. I'm Evan. This is Jagger. Trey's still he's sitting out this one. He'll be back on Friday to unfortunately because well not unfortunately, but we're a little spoiler. We'll get it out of the way now. Bellatar has won the director deep dive purely out of spite, so that we are forced to sit through Sant and Tango
Yes.
again. Me and Jagger again.
Yes.
Um, yeah. So Trey's going to be back for our first episode. We'll just dive straight into our upcoming features. On Friday, we're going to be talking about. Shit, I had to pull that, but I'm going to pull it back up. We're going to be talking about. Man. Earliest first. We're going to be talking about Family Nest 1979 and The Outsider 1981. And this might change. Our schedule with him might change a bit because of the availability of some of these movies. Like Family Nest has 3,000 logs and The Outsider is 1,500. So hopefully they're on the Internet Archive and we'll watch them. They're a lot
Yes.
shorter, thankfully.
Yeah, I
Put
don't
them
think he has
around.
another movie that crosses the 2 hour mark, which is really
No,
weird.
he's
If he does, one is like 2.5 hours, and that's it.
yeah, he's got those like short film compilation ones like City Life, which he worked on is 250 minutes, but nothing to the scale of Sant and Tango. So that'll be coming. And Jagger, why don't you give a little sneak peek about who might be joining us for that?
So I'm in contact with a guy named Edgar Cotran. If you want to look at his letterbox, it's L Cotran 90, like EL Cotran 90, COCHRAN 90. Yeah. His favorites list is an absolute beast incarnate. Like, if you've ever heard someone call a movie pretentious, it is on one of the 5 parts of his favorites list. But he's a
Yeah,
super cool dude,
allergic to
and
watching English movies.
but he's a super cool dude, and I mean, I really respect that he has the taste that he does. So I just want to talk to him a little bit because Satin Tango is his number one film of all time. So I'm just begging to wonder how he understands it because I will never be able to understand that film to its fullest potential. But I read his review, which is a long review, but I read his review and I was like, oh my god, this guy understands film more than I ever will. So
Yeah,
I
I
just wanted
read
to.
I read the first sentence of his review and he said, "Don't read this like a review, read it like a magazine article." And I was like, "I'll come back to it once I rewatch the movie. I'll come back to it."
Yeah,
He has some interesting picks. We'll probably be if Jagger gets around to it, we'll be discussing Salo,
yeah.
120 Days of Sodom, which I've seen before. I'll rewatch it. Jagger's been
It has
interested.
piqued my interest by a lot because some people say this is the most disgusting film you'll ever lay eyes on. People wear dog collars or something, whatever they
Lot
said.
of poop, lot of poop.
Yeah. And then other people are like, this is the greatest political commentary to ever grace the earth. So,
Yeah,
which one is it? I don't know. Guess I'll probably
yeah.
find out later. I don't know. I'm bored.
It
Figure something out.
yeah. It's uh, it's not that bad. Cannibal Holocaust is worse.
Human Centipede
It's
2, I imagine, is worse.
yeah, Human Centipede 2 is pretty bad. At least
Yeah.
it's in black and white. Thankfully, it's in black and white.
If that was
Um,
in color, that'd be a whole other beast. But
yeah, they took that Kill Bill thing where he had to put that scene in black and white to get the movie released, and he just like did that for Tom. What's his name? Tom something. The
Tom
director.
Six,
Fuck
yeah,
that guy, dude. That guy is so self-centered. If you want to see the most self-centered man on the planet, watch Human Centipede 3. It's hysterical how
it
hard
is a
this man
movie about
worked.
a guy talking about how great he is.
Yeah, it's crazy. He appears in the movie as himself and he's like, "Oh yeah, you can use the Human Centipede if I get to watch." Like it's crazy. That movie's wild. Maybe we'll squeeze it into Hooptober somehow.
Please do.
Yeah,
Please.
it's crazy. That movie's insane. Yeah, so that's coming up on Friday. Some Bellatar. Um, will he change my mind? We'll see.
I hope.
Um, next Tuesday we got some Peak. I'm very excited to watch Bridge over the River Kwai. Uh,
Yeah,
a
dude, I've heard
favorite
great
of Ron
things.
Swanson in Parks and
Yeah.
Rec. He loves that movie, dude. I love that episode of his birthday where Leslie's just taunting him all day, and then he just like at the end gets a glass of scotch and a steak and watches Bridge over the River Kwai. Um, great moment. So I'm excited to watch that. I love watching those old war films, especially the ones that do some cool practical effects, which I'm assuming this does.
Yeah, probably.
Uh, Stuff like Wages of Fear, insane.
Yeah.
Uh, and then also we're gonna be watching Martin McDonagh's Three Billboards over outside Ebbing, Missouri. I can never remember the full
Two
title, but
Francis McDormand movies in a row.
yeah.
Love.
Um, I saw it in theaters. I loved it. I haven't seen it since theaters, so I'm excited to get back to it. I love Martin McDonagh. In Bruges is one of my favorite movies like ever. It's so funny. It's probably one of my favorite dark comedies, like top 5.
I
Love
haven't
that.
seen In Bruges. I've heard
It's
incredible things
great.
though.
Super great dark comedy. There's there's this line, and pardon my language, but it's stuck with me all the time. And it's Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson. Colin Farrell kills somebody that he shouldn't have killed. Their hitman, and so Ray Fiennes is their boss, and he sends them to go die down, lose the heat in Bruges. And Colin Farrell's not happy about it, and Brendan Gleeson's like, "Man, this place is so beautiful. Enjoy it." And Colin Farrell looks at him and he goes, "I could enjoy it, maybe if I was born on a farm and retarded, but I'm not, so I don't." It's awesome. It's so funny. I love that movie. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to rewatch Three Billboards. Sam Rockwell, the goat. Love Sam Rockwell. Woody Harrelson, great cast. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes, and then after that, more Bellatar. We'll see. That's going to be kind of flexible. And then
Yeah.
after that, the Tuesday after that, we've got Prisoners and Inside Out, which will be crazy. I have no idea. I'm gonna double feature them for sure. I don't know which order yet because both of them are sad in their own ways.
Yeah. Prisoners messed with me too.
Yeah,
It's a good
Prisoners is
movie.
very good movie. Love Prisoners. So yeah, that's what you can look forward to. We'll be having some fun. How you doing? How's the week been?
How's the week been? It's been good. I've seen some really great movies, some movies not so great. I'm ready for some takes in
Yeah,
here.
Jagger's got 2 hot takes, maybe more, coming up today.
Yeah.
So
Remember the Bo Burnham take. Don't forget that. Just yeah. I've got some stuff to talk about here.
yeah,
So yeah. Run time.
heck yeah. I've been chilling. I dyed my hair. I bleached my hair. Um,
Ooh,
Nice and blonde.
very nice.
Yeah, just felt like doing it. Why not? I have to move again, even though I just moved into this place 3 months ago because our landlord hiked our rent $900.
What?
Being adult is very fun. So thankfully we were on Rent Faster, which is like the rental website. We applied for this place. It was really pretty. I'll send you the pictures. It's a really nice place.
Yeah,
Went to
for
go
sure.
see it. The very first place we saw, we got it, and
Really?
it's a bit more expensive, but it's affordable. 2 bedroom basement suites right off my favorite golf course in the city. I'm very happy.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, let's cook into some movie news. I'm just kind of scrolling through discussing film. So Michael Mann currently writing the script for Heat 2. I'm kind of iffy on this. I think it could be cool. Michael Mann is a hit and miss director, but in the hit and miss, it's like a 5 or a 4. You know,
Yeah.
it's either amazing or it's great. He's a great, very talented director.
I'm very scared because the way he announced it was, I mean, Adam Driver is currently like the darling of big directors
Mhm.
that are for been that have been famous for 40, 50 years. All of them are picking up Adam Driver right now. So like
Yeah.
cool that, but he announced that it will be both a prequel and a sequel.
Hmm.
Whatever that means. I mean,
Yeah, that's
that's
kind of
deeply concerning.
yeah. The prequel stuff worries me. We'll see. Austin
Yes,
Butler, I think, is playing Val Kilmer's character, so that's pretty cool.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Um, Something really cool, really really cool. Neon picked up Chris Stuckman's movie Shelby Oaks.
Yes,
Insane. Good,
I did
fucking
hear that.
congrats to Chris Stuckman because when I was like 14, watching his movie reviews, deciding what to go see, and then he kind of stepped away. He was like, "I'm not reviewing bad movies anymore," which props to him. He decides to be a filmmaker. Doesn't want to shit talk any movies. That's honorable. But now anytime he tweets about a movie, I just go see it. Like he put a video out on the Outfit, which is a very low budget mob movie that's set in one location and feels like a stage play. It's Mark Rylance and Dylan O'Brien. It's fantastic. It's on Netflix, I think. It's so fun. And then he did a video on The Empty Man, which I don't know if you've seen. It's
The
an indie
Empty
horror
Man.
film, very cosmic horror. The first 20 minutes is some of the best horror I've ever seen in my entire life. It's insane. It's a little long. It's like 2.5 hours, which I think is pushing it for a horror movie. But The Empty Man's fantastic. So I take Chris's word like pretty strongly because all the movies he recommends I love. Um,
I just watch listed it. This looks pretty
yeah,
cool.
it's sick. The first 20 minutes is insane. It's absolutely insane. It's like a short film, pretty much. Like it's kind of detracted from the rest. Yeah. Um, so hell yeah, Chris. The Flan Man, Mike Flanagan, is producing it.
Ooh, that's always good.
Keith David's in it. We love Keith David. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, that should be cool. We got our first trailer for Anora, which I'm hoping you watched
I
because
did because it played before Longlegs.
oh okay. Dude, it looks amazing. It looks crazy.
I think it looks crazy and I think it looks very Sean Baker, so I'm probably going to end up liking it.
Yeah.
But the trailer did not sell me, and that was an issue for me. It didn't. I don't know. I'm a
It's
little.
weird. Mikey
But it
Madison's
won the
dialogue
popular.
was yeah. Mikey Madison's dialogue was kind of weird, like
Yeah,
very fuck every other word type thing. I don't know if they played like the R-rated trailer before
yeah, they did.
Longlegs. Yeah, okay, so you know what I mean.
Mhm.
I'm excited. I love Florida Project. I still haven't seen Red Rocket or Tangerine, but
Yeah,
I really
same.
want to because yeah, Florida Project's awesome. Um, yeah, so excited for that. That's coming out this fall, I think.
Yeah,
Twisters officially releases today in North America. I'm gonna try and go
really.
see that. Yeah, it's been out for the last week in like Australia. I think some of my mutuals have seen it. That's pretty cool. I love Twister. I just watched it for the first time. It was so funny.
Oh, dude,
I have
that's
a
a
pretty horrendous fear of thunderstorms. It's better than it used to be, but it was bad.
yeah,
And I said to my girlfriend, I was like, "Do you want to watch Twister?" And she's like, "No, I don't want to watch it with you because it's probably going to make you more anxious of storms." And I was like, "Trust me, I'll be okay." But she was genuinely like didn't want to watch it because she thought it would make me more scared, and I had a blast. I love Twister. It's such a fun
yeah, dude.
movie.
The movie's peak.
Yeah. Um, we got our first look at the Deadpool and Wolverine soundtrack. It seems very goofy. I'm very conflicted on this movie. I love both Deadpool movies, even like Deadpool 2, I still think I really enjoy.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what I don't enjoy. I don't enjoy multiverse stuff anymore because it's a cop out to make nothing matter ever because the deaths don't matter and you can retcon whatever you want.
is this a
So
stab at Breaking Dawn Part Two? Is that what
no,
this is?
it's not. I was trying to just like stab at uh I stab at Multiverse of Madness all the time for bringing Charles Xavier back because I hate it so much. And it's why I'm very worried about Logan being in it because I know this takes place before Logan, and I don't really care. His character was done. Leave it at
Yeah,
that. So I'm hoping it's good. My expectations are very low, so we'll see. Um, Yeah, did you have any movie news?
Did I? I don't think so. I don't think so.
We got it.
Um, I had just read yesterday about Jane Schoenbrunn announcing like a sequel to I Saw the TV Glow.
Really?
Had we mentioned this before?
No.
Yeah. It had been slightly older news, but I had just read it for the first time yesterday that she announced.
Hmm.
Um, Greg Araki's new film got announced.
Oh shit.
It is titled. I know it had a bizarre title. Hold on, let me find it. Wait, hold on. I'm having trouble. Wait. I'm just gonna look at it on here. If you can
I
find it.
want your sex. Is it that?
Yes, that's it. Yeah, that that sounds about
Hell
right.
yeah. Elliot
And
lands a job
he,
for Eric Tracy as her sexual muse. That's all it says. Olivia
yeah,
Wilde starring. Interesting. Okay.
and when he was interviewed about it, he said it's just a movie about how Gen Z doesn't have sex anymore, and that's all he left it at. So yeah, a new Greg Araki
Hell
movie,
yeah.
fine by me.
Yeah. I'm going to keep cooking through his filmography. We'll talk about Doom Generation in a little bit because I did
Yes,
watch
we
it and
will.
Jagger rewatched it.
Yeah, I
Um,
did.
yeah. I think we'll leave it at that for movie news. Shelley Duvall unfortunately passed away. Very sad. Rest in peace.
Very, very sad. Yeah.
Amazing actress. Yeah, that sucks. Um, yeah. Okay. Let's get into the watch list. How
I've
many
got
do you?
26.
Okay, I don't have that many for sure. Actually,
Yeah.
um, did I talk about Camp Rock when we?
Yes, you did. You did not
Okay.
talk about Camp Rock 2, though.
And then I talked about Lost Highway, right? Or
Yeah,
no?
I think that's
Okay.
that might be where you left it.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. And then I did Doom Generation after that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 14.
Okay.
Okay. You do two, I'll do one. You kick it off.
Okay. Um, so my first two are both shorts because I was working at a film festival, Stewards of
Yeah.
the Land and Mevo, because according to this competition, we had like 20 shorts as a cap.
Hmm.
Um, so I banged a couple of them out at the festival. So yeah, Stewards of the Land was a like 10-minute documentary about sheep. Uh,
Hell
two
yeah.
stars. And the Mevo from Farm to Feast was just about like an organization helps with like crops and stuff. 2.5. Cool stuff.
Nice. Um, my first, the Doom Generation. Well, let's get into it.
Oh, we're getting into it now. Okay.
Yeah, that was my first watch after the pod. Because yeah, you were telling me to watch it, so I was like, okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah,
Um,
I thought you'd like this. I
I
guess I
did
was
like
wrong.
it. I This is my thing with the other Greg Araki movies that I've seen outside of Mysterious Skin because I just love that movie. I hate it and I also really like it.
Okay.
And it's like this flip flop. Um, I can't really decide. I need to rewatch it. Like I was saying to you, I feel like I need to watch all these movies twice.
At least. Yeah, they
I
do
thought
deserve
it was
watches.
really funny at times when it'll be spoilers for the
Okay. Yeah,
next
spoilers.
2-3 minutes, whatever. When they walk into the convenience store and shoot the cashier's head off and it's still talking and oozing out, I was laughing my ass off. I was like, what the fuck is this? This is so weird.
Yeah.
It has this very like it okay, the best way I can describe it is that it feels realistic in like a post-apocalyptic wasteland kind of way, where it doesn't feel like humanity, but the characters feel like human. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like normal society. The It's just a very strange world that his films seem to be set in.
Yeah.
But it still weirdly feels organic. I love the dynamic between all three characters. Um, it's like a vibes movie in the weirdest way possible. Like, not don't think Dazed and Confused or a Richard Linklater hangout movie, but like you watch the first 10 minutes and you're like, okay, I get the tone, and then the vibes just sit. It's sex filled and gross and disturbing,
Weird,
weird, very
disturbing.
weird. Um,
And then all of
and
a
then
sudden, final bombastic 10 minutes, they switch
yeah,
that up fast.
yeah, the last
Um,
10 minutes are crazy. I found some issues with it. I felt like it fit, but also came a bit out of nowhere because yeah, it's a sex filled movie and it's uh this like dystopia almost where everyone is just kind of fucked up. And like, dude, the scene where they show the cashiers the family, the mom killed her children and then killed herself, like I was like, holy shit, like what the hell is going on? Like everything is just turned up to 11. and and in the last 10 minutes of this movie, they go to have a three-way in this like warehouse, and a bunch of skinheads painted with swastikas and American flags rape the girl and then cut off the penis of the main character, stuff it in the other dude's mouth, and then it ends. And then it ends. It's fucking nuts. It's insane. And so I
so
was like, I find that Greg Araki's movies always hit me with this like crazy curveball that I don't know how to process in the moment. It's like I said to Jagger, I was like, I feel weird logging these movies right away because they're just so weird. So yeah, I gave it a 3 because I did like it, but I don't really know where to settle on it. I
okay,
will watch it again, but you really love this movie, so why don't you take over?
yeah, so I have this at a really high 4.5. I've seen it 3 times, and I have it at a 4.5 every single one of those watches. Could this very well be a 5? I have it at a 94 out of 100. It's 1 point off of 5. On another rewatch, it probably will be. I love it that much. Um, it all pans out almost like a weird, hyper-violent sex comedy for a good chunk of it, but weird, sort of mysterious things happen along the way. Almost in my mind, it feels like Saltburn was somewhat inspired by parts of this movie. Like, it just really shifts tones a lot. And then it goes from that, and all of the violence all plays out really strangely. And this movie has a lot of
Yeah. The scene with the
very,
ex-boyfriend was wild. It made me laugh when
yeah.
she cut his arm off. Oh my god.
And like 666 pops up a lot. Like whenever they buy something, the price is $6.66. Whether it's just on like a label or what, it just shows up a lot. So you know that something's going on, but you sort of just assume it's this weird world they're living in. Uh, because at no point do they hint at something happening. But after seeing a bunch of interviews with Greg Araki about the movie, he said it's about, like, it has very, very, very prominent queer undertones, as all of Greg Araki's movies do.
Except for the end.
Undertones or overtones.
Which makes it
Um,
the beginning so funny because this movie opens with the Doom Generation, a heterosexual story or something like
movie
that.
by Greg Araki.
Yeah.
And I think it's totally effed up that opens with another homo movie by Greg Araki as the opening title card. So these movies are really what is considered as like the godfather of queer cinema, as I've read by many people. A lot of people say
Yeah.
that. But after all of it, it's supposed to represent how crazy it can be being a gay or queer individual in America. About how, like, at one time it could just be like, I don't know, hanging out, sort of like a hangout movie, but in Greg Araki style.
Mhm.
And then in another minute, it could be, here are neo Nazis coming to kill you. So in that sense, looking at it through a queer eye of America, I think that that's pretty interesting. And there's a lot that could be said about Greg Araki's metaphors in all of his films. Nowhere is a masterpiece, in my opinion. I genuinely think it's perfect.
Yeah,
And the amount of
it's a
metaphors and
crazy movie.
nonsensical moments that cram that movie into an like hour and 20-minute runtime, it's really impressive. how much he says and how much he does in such short run times outside of
Yeah.
Mysterious Skin.
His films are so chaotic that they go by very, very quickly too. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I adore this film. I think it's an incredible commentary. I think that that ending is really so abrupt and so disturbed on so many levels that the fact that it just happens with the meaning that it does makes a lot of sense.
I do
Um,
really love like the scene at the very, very end of I can't remember the girl's name right now, but
the
her and
actress is Rose McGowan. I need to find
yeah,
her.
her and
Amy.
Xavier sitting in the car and he's
Yeah.
looking at her and she just like does not give a fuck and will not look at him. I think it's a great ending. Yeah.
But yeah, I love this film. I can understand why someone would hate it. I can understand why someone would like it. I can understand why someone would really like it. I think that there's
Yeah.
an entire spectrum to be had with the film. Um, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
how I
do
feel.
think that all of Greg Araki's films, like at least the ones I've seen, I've only seen like 3 or 4 of his movies now, but I do think they're worth watching
Yeah,
because they're an experience that not many other films
can
can
give you.
replicate
Yeah,
because they're wildly chaotic, they're weird, they're funny. Yeah. Yeah. Um we'll get Trey to watch Doom Generation sometime. Hopefully
yeah.
he uh I can't really tell if he'll like it or not.
I can foresee him liking it. I can foresee him hating it. I do not see him loving it. I
Yeah.
I just don't see it. But maybe I don't know. I
Yeah,
have
we'll
no
see.
clue.
Yeah. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
Good movie. Good movie. I don't know what my next Iraqi movie will be. Maybe Totally Effed Up.
yeah.
His like teenage trilogy or whatever they call it is on
Criterion
Criterion.
Stream.
So, what's the third one? Oh, is it
Um,
Nowhere, Doom Generation, and Totally Effed Up?
Nowhere Doom Generation totally effed up, and then you already saw Mysterious Skin, so then after
Yeah.
that it's just Living End, and that's it. I think. I think.
He did White Bird in a Blizzard with Shailene Woodley in 2014. I actually have seen that movie.
And he also did Smiley Face. Just remembered that, which is a comedy. It's weird.
Oh my god, John Krasinski looks so weird in that. Yeah, I'll check out Totally Effed Up soon.
For sure.
Yeah. What was your next couple?
My next two, the festival night ended with a movie called The Fall Guys Fight. It's another short, but it's just about like how stunts people should be respected at the Oscars. They interviewed like a super famous stunt director. It was cool. And
Heck
then
yeah.
after watching that, I decided I'd keep that like martial arts thing going. I went home. I watched The Art of Self Defense. Have you seen that movie?
I haven't seen it, but I know it. Like I know of
Oh
it.
man. I saw someone describe it as an extended version of the Rex Kwon Do scene from Napoleon Dynamite, and that's the
All
perfect way to explain it.
right, it's going on the watch list. Fuck yeah, that's awesome.
I give it a 3.5, 62 out of 100. I couldn't explain this to you if I tried. It's really weird. It has dark moments, but it's incredibly funny.
Oh,
Um,
Jesse Eisenberg's in it. Shout
yeah,
out to Jesse Eisenberg for killing it as Lex Luthor, and I'll say it twice because Trey's not here. Killing it as Lex Luthor. Hell yeah, Trey's giving a thumbs up. That's what we're talking about. Jagger, I don't know if you've seen Batman versus Superman, the ultimate cut. Sorry, Dawn
I
of
have
Justice,
not.
the ultimate cut, but you should get on that because it's fucking awesome.
I'm looking for it.
Nice. I'll check out that. I don't watch that many short films, but I I remember last October I was at 99 logs, October 31st, when I finished watching all the horror movies I wanted to watch for the month. And I was like, I can't leave it at 99. So I busted out like 3 or 4 short films, horror short films. I actually watched this really crazy one. I I think you might have seen it. I don't remember the exact name, but it's about this serial killer and he kills this girl and his family get to choose how to dismember him one
Oh
piece
my
by
god, the
one piece.
disappearance of Willie Bingham.
That movie
Yes.
or that short film is fucking awesome. It's
Yeah.
like 20 minutes long and yeah, they cut off one piece of his body every like couple months just to like slowly torture him to death. It's brutal. Watch it. It's on YouTube. Go watch that. It's really really good.
Yeah.
That's how I capped off my October. I finished with like 102 logs. We have leaderboards in the Real Talk Discord every month and I
Yeah, I'm
me-
topping the leaderboard this month.
you are definitely topping the leaderboard this month. I so I was like, I need to get on the podium. I need to get to top 3, and I tied with the third place person, but because of alphabetical order, I came fourth, and I am so mad about it because I had 102 logs. Um, I'll kill it in October. I'm gonna go crazy. Let's see, diary. My next watch after that, Camp Rock 2, the final jam. My girlfriend went to go see the Jonas Brothers, and I was very jealous. So I was like, let's watch Camp Rock. Camp Rock 2's cinema. It's not as good as the first one because pretty much every musical number, except for a couple, are flash mob stuff, and that's like my least favorite type of musical number.
Okay.
Yeah, 4.5, banger. Love Camp Rock. Love it. Peak. You know what?
Um,
I'll just do my next one right now because I like only half watched it because the news that our landlord was hiking our rent came while we were watching this movie and we kind of stopped halfway through watching it. We
okay.
watched Jump In, the Disney movie about the jump ropes. I don't know if you've seen it. Corbin
Hold
Blue.
on a second. I didn't even know there were as many Disney movies as there
Oh,
are, and you are. It's the
oh,
guy from High School Musical.
yeah, Corbin Blue, the goat.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I'll
my
watch it.
girlfriend came up to me with an idea that we should add to the podcast because she doesn't know you, but she is a big fan of Trey. She loves Trey. And she said, "You guys should introduce." Hell yeah! Every couple weeks, do my girlfriend made me watch this segment where we all watch some rom com type thing that she forces me to watch, and she was like, "I want you to introduce this as a segment so that you can force Jagger to watch the Princess Diaries because me and Trey love the Princess Diaries."
Have I seen The
So,
Princess Diaries? Hold on.
with Anne Hathaway, cinema, absolute cinema.
Where are they streaming? Because
It's
if
on
it,
Disney Plus.
I mean, I won't fight it. I'll watch them.
So you can
There's
maybe
multiple. Yeah.
expect that coming at some point. We'll watch some chick flicks.
Ooh,
We'll
there's a
talk about them.
Princess Diaries 3 coming out,
There sure is. Very excited about that.
and a fourth, all announced. Wow.
Hell yeah. Um. Okay. Yeah. Jump in. It was fine. It's. I mean, it's okay. It's not as good as Camp Rock. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. My next one, I came home and I found an old DVD book that I had had when it came to like putting DVDs on in the car.
Yeah.
I hadn't watched any of them since I was like 4 years old, 5 years old. And I found Surfs Up 2 Wave Mania
Fuck yeah.
that I had watched when I was 7. And I was like, oh, I gotta watch that. I watched it again. I gave it a 1.5. All of it flooded back to me within the first 5 minutes. And I remembered, oh yeah, I've never seen the first Surfs Up. I've only seen
What?
Surfs Up 2. Yeah.
Okay. Let me sell you on Surfs Up 1 in one scene description.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I don't know if you know the song Drive by Incubus. Do you know this song?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm
in the first 20 minutes of Surf's Up, Shia LaBeouf is the main character,
okay.
and he is very much wanting to be a surfer, a famous surfer, and everyone's like, nah, fuck you, like, you can't do it. And there's a voiceover that goes, also, Green Day's Holiday plays over the opening credits. It's magnificent. Um, But Shia LaBeouf does this voiceover and he goes, "Man, everybody's trying to tell me what I need to do and who I need to be." And it's like straight out of that scene in Across the Spider-Verse. It's like, nah, I'm gonna do me, but he's like, I'm gonna be who I want to be. And he gets onto this piece of ice and it breaks away and starts floating away. And he's like, I'm gonna do me. And it drives Incubus kicks in. It's like, whatever tomorrow. Oh my god, it's so fucking good. Surfs Up rips.
All right, I just
It
watch listed that for
it's
sure.
amazing. Surf's Up
It's on the
is
Roku channel for free with ads, so I'll
hell
check
yeah.
that out at
Surf's
some
Up's
point.
phenomenal. It's hysterical. It's so funny. Um, Jeff Bridges playing Big Z, like it's so peak. Yeah,
Um, but yeah, Surfs Up to Wave Mania, a movie that I forgot I loved, and I gave it a 1.5 because it sucks and it's not that enjoyable at all. But there are moments that are definitely worth the watch. So if you want to watch Surfs Up to Wave Mania, go for it.
I gotta check that out. I haven't seen it in forever.
Then I watched Come Home, My Child, which is called Come Back, My Child on Letterboxd. But this was a documentary about an older Taiwanese woman, I believe. Yeah, an older Taiwanese woman who writes letters to Taiwanese prisoners. And it's just telling the stories of like a kid that got falsely accused of this, and he has, I think it was a 116-year sentence. And she wrote letters to him until the day that he died. And it's really sad and really touching, but it is single-handedly the most beautiful documentary I've ever seen, maybe second to Dear Zachary. Um,
Dude,
but
I've been
my
wanting to watch it for so long, Dear Zachary, but I know the reputation that precedes it, and I have not watched it yet.
do you know what it's about?
I do know what it's about, yeah.
Oh my god, I can't even explain how heart-wrenching it is. But a TikTok guy that I super really like, nice guy said, I usually make movies about horror content, and this is a movie that I'm willing to break my general like rhythm for because
Mm.
I need to tell you to watch this movie. And I was like, I'm sold. And I watched it and I sobbed my eyes out for the whole
Yeah,
runtime.
that's what I've heard about it, is that you're just gonna cry.
But Come On My Child, I was sitting in the back of the theater sobbing, and when we all got up, I realized I was not alone on that. A lot of people were sitting there crying. Um,
Hmm.
but man, it was so sad because she was just the greatest woman. Um, and a filmmaker was supposed to come, but couldn't make it.
Mm.
But really, really excellent documentary. It only has a couple of logs, but it was so good that I just wanted to put a backdrop up for it. Uh,
Mm.
highly, highly suggest if it
Is
comes
it?
out
Yeah, I
publicly.
was gonna say, is it out?
No, but it plays at a bunch of colleges, like on like
Hmm.
college theaters. So
Gotcha.
it's probably going to get out to the masses soon because it got distribution recently. So
I'll have to check it out.
when it comes out, I'll let you know.
Sounds cool. My next watch completed a checklist and like bucket list of films. I went to the theater to see my favorite horror movie of all time for the
Yes.
first time. I saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Alan, go fuck yourself. Um,
Wait, does he not like it?
he does not like it. He says it's boring, and so does a lot of people. Daniel, fuck you, Daniel, too.
Stupid,
Yeah.
dude. Peak film.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a masterpiece. It is it's perfection in suspense and making you feel disgusting. The
Yeah.
the fact that this movie was filmed over a heat wave and they didn't have the budget for multiple costumes, they didn't have the budget for air conditioning, everyone is sweaty and losing their minds, just adds to how organic the horror feels. The
My,
last half hour is crazy. The shots of the eyeballs at the dinner table in theaters, like I'm just goosebumps all over my body. I had such a good time. There was right before I went in, I heard this guy come in. I was talking to, this is like a very local retro theater, and I said to the guy, like, dude, I'm so excited, like this is my favorite horror movie of all time. He said, have you ever seen it in theaters? And I said no, and he looks at me and he goes, I'm so excited for you. And I was like, hell yeah, man. But right after me, this guy walks in and he says, I've never seen it before. I just smoked a fat joint outside and I got a beer and I'm ready to go. And he had a good time. It was like not even 10 of us in the theater. And there was this girl that came in and she sat in the very front row. And audibly, the movie opens with these like rotting corpses.
yeah.
And she goes, oh, gross. And she was having a rough time. Like she was audibly having a rough time. And as we left the theater, she like reached out to another person. She was like, were you just in Texas Chainsaw? He's like, yeah. She's like, that was my first time seeing the original. I was like, holy shit. The first time seeing that movie in theaters, that'd be crazy. It's
The first
amazing.
time I watched that movie, I watched it over a Google Meet with someone presenting their screen, watching that movie.
Hell yeah.
But
I
yeah,
I adore Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Franklin is one of the most ironically funny characters in the history of horror. He's so funny. Oh my god. It's just perfect. The way it cuts away from the gore and focuses on the faces
yeah,
is like way more terrifying. Like watching, I can't remember the names right now, but the girl is hooked on a meat hook watching her boyfriend be decapitated in front of her, and all you see is her face and Leatherface going, like, it's way scarier than seeing the actual gore. It's
yeah,
so perfect. I love it so much. 5 out of 5. It's my favorite horror movie of all time. I love it. Yeah, it's perfect.
yeah.
So thankful I got to see it in theaters.
I have the 4K steelbook of it, but I genuinely do not think anything could match a theatrical experience with that movie.
Yeah,
I would
and
love to
it's
see
not even like a super fancy theater. I saw 2001 there. It's like my
really,
favorite theater in the theater. I saw The Devil there. I've
really.
seen uh 2001 there. I saw Perfect Blue there.
I haven't
They're
seen Perfect Blue. I've heard great
uh
things though.
if you like Black Swan, you'll love Perfect Blue because Perfect
Oh well, then
Blue
I'm
is what
sold.
inspired Black Swan. Darren Aronofsky is very vocal about how Perfect Blue did not he didn't rip off Perfect Blue, but he totally did because they're very, very similar. He totally did. Um yeah, shout out to go to your like local cinemas because they show the cool shit. They're playing a bunch of Studio Ghibli movies right now. They're
Really,
playing Princess Mononoke right now, but it's the dub, and I've never seen it, so I don't really want to see the dub for my first watch.
don't watch the dub for your first watch.
Yeah,
Watch Princess Mononoke in the original
and I
language.
know that
That's
Ghibli movies are historically really good dubs, and they get famous actors for them, but still, like I want to savor it. That's where they played Doom Generation. Like, they did a whole Gregoraki run. I wish I went. So their current lineup, I'll read it to you. They're doing Throne of Blood, Kurosawa's Throne of Blood,
oh
Texas
my
Chainsaw
god.
Massacre, Pan's Labyrinth. I might go see that this weekend. Blade, Wesley Snipes, uh, Showgirls, which I've never seen either, and
Who's that
then
one guy? Yeah.
they're doing the films of Susan Pitt. Enter the wild and wondrous world of the late Susan Pitt, an independent animation visionary whose I don't know how to say that word. Psychosexual odysseys are direct channels into her dreams, nightmares, fantasies, and inner desires. That sounds sick. Might go to that. So yeah, see if you've got one of those in your city, listeners, because support them.
I
They're
have
worth
a
it.
children's theater that is right now exclusively playing Inside Out 2 and
Oh
Despicable
God,
Me 4. I went there to
that's
see Challengers though, because they were accidentally playing it for PG-13, so I got to uh
hell yeah,
go without anybody. That was nice though.
yeah.
um,
Um, what's your next couple?
my next two, my final short film of the festival, Upon Return. It was just a documentary, like 4 minutes. It was an interview with a guy named Bob Woodruff, who was in the Iraq War, and like
Hmm.
talking about his experience. Um, After that, I just had to sit backstage because the other two movies were sort of eh. Um, so I sat backstage and I watched Saltburn again. Woo! That's 20 watches now officially. So yeah,
Nice,
so that's my two.
nice. After that, came home from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 for the first time.
Oh man, is that the one where the guy has sex with the chainsaw? Is that two
No,
or is that
no.
another one?
Unless I missed that scene, no. I
I
will
thought that
sell
was two.
you.
I guess I'm wrong.
Let me sell you on Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 in like one sentence. This movie is the Evil Dead 2 of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It is a full blown comedy. It's fucking hysterical. Leatherface has a crush on the main character, and there's a scene where he cuts off somebody's face and puts it on the girl, and they ballroom dance. It's hysterical. It is so goofy and corny and over the top. It is exactly Evil Dead 2 esque. levels of goofiness. Yeah,
I
amazing.
have Texas Chainsaw Massacre too.
Yeah, it's
How
fucking
have I not
awesome.
seen it yet? I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's really funny. Dennis Hopper is the cop in the movie, and he just runs around like test driving chainsaws. It's so good, dude. I loved it. It's very very different from the first one. It's the same like family, like, and
Yeah,
the son who dies at the end of Texas Chainsaw Massacre that gets run over by the truck, like
yeah.
he's in it, but he's like a literal zombie. Like it's so funny. I loved it. I
I
thought it was corny. Oh yeah, it's so good.
I've been meaning to watch the other Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Is it '03? One of the
Yeah.
remakes.
Yeah,
Remember?
the 031 people like it. I don't think it's very good. The gore is crazy. Leatherface cuts off this dude's hands and puts them in jars of salt, like the stumps. It's super violent. Yeah, it's crazy.
Ooh.
Um yeah, but it's pretty boring. Yeah.
So my next one is American Pot Story Oaksterdam, which is about like a movement that tried to legalize pot in California, and about how like that actually ended up leading to the legalization of pot. I gave it a 3.5. It was really interesting for what it was trying to do. It was well made. Um, but I thought some of the people in it were incredibly annoying. Like some of the people that they were talking about were just really bothersome. Um, and the filmmaker was cool. I got to talk to him a little bit. Super nice guy. And then I came home and I was just sort of on the documentary kick at that point. So I decided to watch my favorite mockumentary, Nathan For You's Finding Francis. Oh man, I love that stuff so much. I eat up anything Nathan Fielder makes. So,
Yeah, you should,
an
man.
85-minute Nathan For You episode. It's weirdly enticing. Like it's genuinely good. Which just makes it all the funnier. It's a great deconstruction of the Nathan
Here,
persona.
one sec. You keep talking about it. I just remembered that I did not put away my groceries from work, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
Because I have stuff to go in
Um.
the fridge. But keep talking about that. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just keep yapping. It's about William Heath. For those of you that don't know, William Heath is someone that appeared earlier on the show, as like a Bill Gates impersonator. And it's about them attempting to find his long lost love, and the woman's name is Frances. So it's just about the idea of what if they took the expenses of the show, and for the big final episode, instead of making like some giant theatric bonanza, what if they just made it a down to earth documentary about finding the guy that this person's been trying to find his entire life? Um, and I think there's something really almost heartwarming about it, but even more than that, it works, like I said, as a great deconstruction of his character, and also just as an incredibly interesting episode of the show. Um, yeah, really, really great. I have this at a 5, obviously, but I think it's just great stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I gotta do a run through at some point. Watch the curse. Watch Nathan For You. I'll get to it. Yeah. Sorry, I bought bacon. I'm having chicken Caesar wraps for dinner, and I forgot to put it in the fridge.
Oh, that's good.
Um, my next watch was Longlegs. How far off is Longlegs for you?
Not too far off.
Okay, we'll save it. I want to talk about. We'll save it till we get to you. My
Let's do
next
the
one.
whole let's do the whole watch list and then have that conversation after.
Yeah, sure. Okay, after that, I watched The Big Sick. This is part of our Real Talk 31 on 31, so it's 31 different genres of movies, 31 days. This is Kumail Nanjiani. It's like a biopic, pretty much. He plays himself. It's a story of him and his wife. I loved it. I don't know if have you seen this?
No, but I had heard of it. I thought it was just
Yeah.
another rom-com. I didn't know.
So the story is I gave this a 4.5. I thought it was phenomenal. The
Really?
story is he's a stand-up comic and he meets this girl and they start dating and she gets sick and falls into a coma. And this is a true story. This is actually what happened to his wife. And it's about him struggling with her being in a coma while he's trying to make it, dealing with her parents. dealing with his own parents who were trying to force him into an arranged marriage. It's amazing. I thought it was so good. It's really funny. It's heartfelt, dramatic, sad. Yeah, I
I
would
did not
highly
know
recommend
what
this.
it was about. Wow.
Yeah,
I don't
so
know.
he plays himself, and then the rest of them are like normal actors. It's Holly Hunter and Ray Romano play his wife's parents. Bo Burnham's in it, plays an absolute dickhead. He's very good at that. Yeah, it's fantastic. I really loved it. Glad I watched it.
Cam has it at a 5.
Yeah, it's like one of his favorite movies. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's great. I'd highly recommend it. It's on Netflix. Check it out. Really good.
My next one is Mean Girls. Mean Girls is it's Mean Girls. I have this
We're
at a
so
3.5.
lost in this.
I love Mean Girls. Peak cinema.
Yeah, raise your
Um,
score then. It's a 5.
eh, what? My next one is Stuck in Greece. It's about uh transgender LGBTQIA plus people that are in Greece, and they've been sort of brought there on like as refugees, and
Mhm.
then once they're there, they get executed for being gay,
Jesus.
and it's about how like even now they'll do hangings, they'll stone them like in public, they'll burn them, they'll behead them, and how it's just these really brutal executions, and how it's basically for a while it was legal if you kill a gay person, no charge, nothing.
When is this set?
Like 10 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
Um, and it seems like it's a little better now, but even so, it's not great, and there's still hardly any acceptance for them. It's really sad. Um, and it's just talking about how like this person it's their story about how they were raped when they were 4 years old, and now they're like later on in life as a gay person, no charge for the person that did it. It's like really, really
that sounds
heartbreaking
that
stuff.
sounds rough. Sounds like
Yeah,
a bad
and
time.
it has a half-star rating from someone on Letterboxd. I just could not possibly understand how. I gave
Hmm.
it a 4. It was incredible. It's really haunting how all of that is true. Um, but it's really great. I mean, my 4 star. Don't let it deceive you. If you get the chance to watch this, a lot of people will give it a 5.
What is it called again, sorry?
Stuck in Greece, an LGBT refugee crisis.
Did you watch this at the festival or at home?
Yeah, I
Oh, it's
did. When brought to Athens, Greece, in 2016, a screening of his film Daddy, actor and filmmaker Gerald McCulloch unexpectedly meets a group of LGBT refugees fleeing persecution from their communities, their governments, and their families who now find them trapped in Greece. Unable to move on other parts of the EU, they face abuse, torture, rape, and murder in refugee camps. So many are forced to live into a life of displacement for years, confounded by their circumstances. Gerald is compelled to document his education of a crisis facing countless members of community who came to Greece under desperately different circumstances.
Jesus, dude, this has 6 logs on Letterbox. What the hell?
Yeah, it's super, super under the radar, but it
Hmm.
was absolutely incredible.
I'll check that out. I put it on the watch list. I really enjoy documentaries. I just don't watch them very often. Hmm. Yeah, I'll check that out. Maybe I'll do a documentary day. Um, after The Big Sick, I watched The Weekend Away, starring none other than Gossip Girl's Leighton Meister, whatever, Blair Waldorf. This is a murder mystery movie. It's got pretty abysmal reviews from my mutuals. Kind of had a good time with it. It's the last act I kind of locked in. Like it kind of got crazy. I gave it a 2.5. I don't think it's bad. It's like a Netflix original. It's not the
The
worst
second
Netflix originals.
Wait, your second to most recent log I'm seeing right now, dude. That's a movie we've got to talk about.
A Bay of Blood. Oh, have you seen it, dude? Holy shit! What a crazy ending. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. That's a crazy movie. Yeah, that's on our 31 to 31. You should look at it and watch some of them.
I gotta watch that again. I haven't seen it since early last year. I did a little.
Crazy. Yeah, crazy movie.
You gotta
Yeah.
remind me what the ending was. I did like a
Oh,
slasher
we'll
bin.
talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah, Weekend Away. It was fine. It's not that bad. 2.5.
My next two, 12 parts per million, is about a swimmer, an Olympic swimmer, who got kicked out of the Olympics because he had like cold medication or something in his system, and they thought it was drugs, so he got kicked
Jesus.
out of the Olympics. Um, Half of it was in the style of A Scanner Darkly with that visual look,
Hmm.
and it made me so mad. Um, so I gave it a 1.5. I could not
Damn.
stand that look and how they went for that because I don't like it when Scanner Darkly did it, much less a documentary that only does it for half of it. Oh man, it was a complete mess. I'm gonna skip Doom Generation since we already had that
Yeah.
conversation. Um, Seven. Seven was part of my preparation for Longlegs. I have seven at a 4.5. I think seven is exceptional. The darkness, the tone, the plot twist, the ending, all of it clicks together so perfectly in my
How
mind.
close is 7 to a 5 for you? And where does it rank in your David Fincher ranking?
I have it at an 89, so it's
Oh,
not
okay.
that close. But on my David Fincher ranking, I have to look back at what Fincher's made. I like Gone Girl more. I like Fight Club
W.
more. I like it more than The Killer, Benjamin Button, Social Network, and Zodiac, though. I
Yeah.
haven't seen any of his other movies.
This is my number 2 David Fincher. I've Gone Girl above it.
Yeah,
Every
it's
time
my
I
number
watch 7,
two.
I like it more. I think it's so good. I really want to watch Benjamin Button because I don't know if you listen to them, but Cash and Carl Film Scoop, they hate Benjamin Button with a
How can
dying
they hate
passion.
Benjamin Button? I
They
think Benjamin Button's like a 3.5 to 4.
they I believe in their episode when they mentioned it, they said if you like Benjamin Button, don't listen to our podcast. So I'm
What do I
very
do?
curious. They hate it. Like I think they have it. Let me see what they have it at. They fucking hate it. So I do want to
Catching
watch it
strays
because I
with
think
Benjamin.
it sounds cool to me.
Yeah, but the guy that
Um,
ages down, yeah, it's very
yeah.
cool.
Um, Cash has it at a 1 star, and Carl both have it at a 1 star.
So wait a minute,
It's
they're that violent about a 1 star?
yeah.
Well, then what if you like one of their half stars?
They don't got that many half stars.
Okay.
They're lovers of cinema. Um, sorry, back to 7. Yeah, tell me about what you like about 7.
I just realized I have 60 half stars. Wow. I gotta ease that.
Dude, I thought you would have like 100 because I have 51 and I feel like you or 52 and I feel like you have way more than I do.
Um, yeah, I think that the complete darkness and almost hopeless vibe of Seven works really well. And when we get to the conversation about Longlegs, I'll bring up how Osgood Perkins said the comparisons to Seven and Silence of the Lambs were entirely my intent. Which, don't compare yourself to masterpieces. Come on, man. You know better than that.
We'll talk about it. I got some opinions on that.
But I want to ask you one question before we get into the Longlegs conversation.
Hmm.
Do you view Longlegs more as a thriller or a horror?
It's both. It's like 7. Its intent is to
'Cause
horrify you, but it's a thriller. Like Cash kind
I
of opened my eyes on this where he said he thinks 7 is a horror movie because its intent is to horrify you with its visuals, its tone. And that's what a horror movie does. Just because it's a murder mystery and it's a serial killer movie, its intent is to make you disturbed and really horrify you with its visuals. And it succeeds in that, and so does Longlegs. So I have it as it's a horror movie to me, but it's like
because
it,
I
it
view Longlegs as a thriller drama. I view it as a procedural dramatic thriller. I don't
I
take it as much as a horror movie because for me, I'm very, very specific about a horror movie. I call something a horror movie if it's either like a slasher or if it
Yeah.
scares me in the slightest. Outside of the opening scene of Longlegs, which we'll talk about because I think it is a perfect scene. It is genuinely a
So fucking
perfect
good.
scene. Outside of that, I didn't even view any of it as creepy.
Did the
I viewed
Polaroid scene not scare you? Because that scared me. Ooh, that
no.
scene got me.
I viewed that scene as honestly kind of annoying, but we'll get to that. We'll get
Yeah,
to that.
we'll talk about it. If you can tell, Jagger is not as high on long legs as we are.
I'm not, and I could understand why someone would love it, but I just have so many problems with it that again, I'll break it all down for you and then you can break it down.
Yeah,
I'm willing to listen to your opinion. I want to like it. I really
yeah,
do because I was so excited for it that I want to love it. But
yeah. We'll
it's
have some
just
interesting conversations.
yeah, it's just I view it much more as a drama than I do a horror. But we'll get into it.
Yeah, I think we'll talk about the marketing, which it's one of the best marketing campaigns of all time,
But it
and
was a
whether
huge
it
blessing and
set
a
up.
curse.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, did it set up false expectations? Was it successful in what it tried to do? That's the thing. We'll get into it. Yeah, for
There's a
me, I
terrible thunderstorm going on here. I'm sorry.
dude,
It is
I drove to work this morning and it wasn't raining. It was kind of humid outside and it looked like the upside down from Stranger Things. Dude, there was lightning flashing everywhere and it was pitch black outside. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh, it was terrifying. Um, yeah, for me, I don't really think Longlegs is particularly similar to Silence of the Lambs. I think it's much more similar
to
to
seven.
Seven. I think the like investigative stuff, maybe it's a bit closer to Silence of the Lambs, but its tone, its pacing, the plot, much more similar to me, like Seven. Yeah. I think Seven's a masterpiece. It's so insanely good. Every murder they uncover is just the worst shit ever. Yeah, it's Seven's sick. I love Seven. My next
Yes.
one, yeah, my next one after that, we're getting through it. We got a few left. After the weekend away, I was looking through Leighton Meester's filmography. She plays Blair in Gossip Girl, which yeah, peak character. And I was like, oh my god, she has a movie with Selena Gomez and Juliet from Gossip Girl. And my girlfriend looks at me, Beth goes, I know exactly which movie you're talking about. I fucking love it. So we watched it, and we watched Monte Carlo, which these three girls go to Paris on vacation, and it turns out that Selena Gomez has a doppelganger who's this like super rich royal person who's like trying to become the queen or something. It was peak, absolute peak. I love these body swap like impersonation type teen movies. Yeah, it was good shit.
um.
I eat that up. Yeah.
So my next one is Silence of the Lambs, which I watched after seven because I wanted to be in the mindset of Silence of the Lambs when I went into Longlegs because the director compared Longlegs to Silence of the Lambs
Yeah.
himself, which I think was also a mistake. Um, I've heard a lot of people call Silence of the Lambs a horror movie, and while I understand it, I disagree. But I understand where they're coming from. And what makes me so mad is how close in like specific details Longlegs is to Silence of the Lambs. An orange tinted basement, a character with blonde hair playing the serial killer with a feminine voice being hunted down by one female journalist who happens to have strong intuition about what's going on and looks at it through the lens of another serial killer.
Okay, that's my okay. Well, you know what? Let's talk about Long Legs now because the rest of
Okay,
my
yeah,
watch list is schlock, and I want to get your opinion on this.
yeah.
Okay, I completely agree with everything that you said up until looks at it through the eyes of another serial killer.
Mhm.
I don't think that Hannibal Lecter and Longlegs share anything in common. And this is uh my place where I kind of go,
I get where you're coming from, but I would like to quickly shift what I'm saying
yeah,
and say
please.
it's that same idea that she looks through Longlegs to find what's going on and ends up seeing it through. Spoiler alert for the rest
Yeah,
of.
we're gonna be spoilers for Longlegs. If you haven't
Yeah.
seen it, go watch it. We're gonna
Being that
be
we're already
spoilers.
an hour in, understand there's likely going to end up being like a 20-minute conversation, so
Yeah.
just skim around. Um, they took all the ideas that Buffalo Bill follows, where Buffalo Bill makes like outfits for himself out of humans. This
Hmm.
guy makes dolls that resemble humans. It's too close. And they take Buffalo Bill and reverse Hannibal Lecter's role with Buffalo Bill for the sheer purpose of getting the reaction that you just had of Hannibal Lecter and Longlegs are nothing alike. But when you draw the lines between Hannibal Lecter and Buffalo, or between Buffalo Bill and Longlegs,
Mm.
it's 1-to-1, man. And it's sad because this had the potential to be an incredible film. But I think number one, the makeup was good for Nicolas Cage. But I think showing this down was far scarier than showing the whole face. And I think they really screwed up with not only revealing the rest of his face in the scene where she's in there with him. If that was the first time and only time that we saw him, it would have been perfect. But that scene in the store was so annoying to me because he comes in, he does the whole blah, blah, blah thing, and it's creepy for what it is. But then they make a joke where it's like, Dad, the weird guy's here again with the lady who sounds like, what's her name from Phineas and Ferb. It didn't work. It didn't work. And then the scene with him in the car where he's like, it goes from that sort of creepy moment to him going, Mama, Papa, that it 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 and Osgood Perkins said, again, I'm gonna quote him a lot because I've been hearing a lot about what he's been saying. He said, quote unquote, if you find it silly and cartoony, you don't understand. It is, though. It is. And it feels almost intentionally so. So accept that. And they marketed it as a horror movie because I followed the marketing. I had the sheet with all of the different things and what they meant. I was on that website where you downloaded the links and stuff. I was in on the marketing 100% of the way. And it was a blessing and a curse because it definitely got me sat in that seat. I was dying to see it. But once you start the movie, it starts with a scene that is absolutely terrifying. A spine chilling, oh man, a spine chilling scene that sets you up to think, oh man, I'm about to witness a horror masterpiece. I'm about to see the
Especially
greatest.
with the scene right after too, like when they go door to door and her partner gets his fucking head blown off.
Absolutely. I think that it starts great. And as soon as they get to that scene of him driving in the car, everything fell apart for me. His character is intentionally almost goofy to be like, look how insane this guy is. For those of you here, I would like to use that clip I was talking about to really sell my point because I can't do the impression. I don't know. Just listen to this.
The score. Oh my god, the score.
Score's
So
good,
good. The score is so good.
but at that scene and at the scene in the car, the guy sitting in the front row of our theater was dying laughing. And I was sitting in the back of the theater trying not to laugh because that's obnoxious. Um, but I was trying not to laugh. It was so funny. And I saw a review from a guy named Drew, who I got teamed with for Movie Club Monday like 2 weeks ago. And he said, I saw Longlegs going in expecting the scariest film of the year, and outside of Kinds of Kindness, this was the funniest film of the year. It is a film that is comedic, in a weird way where it tries to make Micah Monroe's like whole thing awkward,
Her
which I
awkwardness.
her awkwardness, yeah, but I also don't know what they were going for because she has super smart intuition and she's really awkward. I don't know what he was trying to infer with that, but whatever it is,
I'll okay, I want to say this, and I really hope I'm not being insensitive, but this is like a mega autistic character.
yeah,
I
that's what I
hope
was
that is
trying to
not a
hint at there.
derogatory thing. I'll come out and say it.
Yes.
Um, the scene when Micah Monroe, I want to let you keep going, but I just want to cut in. The scene when Micah Monroe is with Carter and they go to his family's house and he's sitting there with with the daughter and she is like, "Do you want to come to my birthday party?" And she's so socially awkward. Micah Monroe's character when she's in these casual situations, like it does provide. I won't deny that this is a funny movie because, in my opinion, complimentary. Micah Monroe's awkwardness brought a lot of comedy
Yeah.
in weird ways because she is so cringy and terrible with interacting with humans. Even when the first night when she's with all of the case files and then Carter's like, "Let's go get a drink," and she's like, "I don't drink," and he's like, "Good, you're driving." Like it 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 brings a lot of comedy in a good way. I hope you thought those scenes were funny too, but I'll let you keep going with that.
I did think they were funny, but I also think that that movie screwed itself up by putting any comedy at all. And I think that having Nicolas Cage's character directed in the way that he is, because again, I love Nick Cage, I love his performance. He really dives in on it. And that's one of the things that I love about Nick Cage and Willem Dafoe alike, is that if you tell them to do something, they'll just do it. And that's the thing about Nick Cage's character in this. It's so weird and surreal and odd, and it's great for what the character is trying to be. But I genuinely believe that him singing as much as he does screwed this movie over a lot. Because when you promote a movie as the scariest movie of the decade, and then you have people like Jacked Nerd, that guy, that's like, this is the scariest movie of the decade? No, scariest movie of the century, scariest movie of the last 50, 75 years. And when people are putting it like in comparison with The Shining and The Exorcist, and when I heard a couple people compare it to Skinamarink, even, I was like, oh man, this is going to be a scary movie. Yeah, I know. I'm really
That's a
confused
weird
too.
comparison.
And then, as I had heard all of that, I got really excited. And then, as soon as the movie started putting comedy out, I was very off put. And then, when they started to make Nick Cage's character comedic in a weird sense and a little bit like cartoony, and even the moment where they say, like, he's been singing Happy Birthday for a long time, and she's like, how
24
long? And they go,
minutes.
24 minutes. Like, even that moment's a little bit jokey in the way that they present it. And I think that that was a huge, colossal screw up on their part because this did not need to have any comedy. And the fact that it had half as much comedy as it does has eternally limited the scariest movie of all time, because the scariest movies that I've seen are scary from beginning to end. So that's where the marketing comes in. The first trailer, a call where it's like, my daughter, I don't think she's my actual daughter. It makes sense once you've seen the rest of the movie, which again, I'll get to the rest of it because the way that they try and justify what's going on here is off the wall bonkers. But the promotion made all of the moments, number one, out of context, and number two, petrifying. I was scared of the trailers of this movie, and the movie didn't scare me. I would like to get to trying to explain my problem with the end of this movie.
Okay,
If
I will give my spiel and then we can talk about the ending because I would
the
like
last like
to
20
have
minutes
a.
try and justify everything, and it is so stupid, but we'll get into that in a second. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
okay. So, I would like to have a conversation about most of the movie and then we'll talk about the third act because people I've talked to, they give this movie like a 3.5, say they don't like the ending. or they don't like the last 20 minutes. Okay, first off, yes, the first scene of this movie is the scariest thing I've seen in a long time.
Mhm.
I was terrified. I don't get super scared at jump scares, you know. I don't I watch so many horror movies that they don't bother me too much.
Mhm.
This is the scariest. I'm going to straight up like just go against everything Jagger said. Okay, this movie scared me like the most I've been scared since Hereditary.
Wow.
And I have seen a lot of horror movies since then. uh my girlfriend looked at me when we got out and I said, "Man, that first scene and the Polaroid scene scared the fucking shit out of me." And she was like, "Were you okay? You were holding my hand really hard." I said, "No, I wasn't okay. This scared the shit out of me." Um I think Longlegs is a masterpiece. It Okay, first off, both of us can accept the marketing for this movie. It's maybe the strongest marketing ever
Mhm.
put. It's maybe one of the best marketing campaigns of all time.
Yeah.
The cryptic code, the billboards with the phone number,
Yeah.
the videos, yeah, it's insane. I went in with expectations. Like the day before I saw it, because I went to an early screening. I saw reviews and they said, "Tamper your expectations. It's not quite what you think it'll be."
Yeah.
It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, 100%. But and I'm gonna quote Trey because he gave me some quotes to read before we started the podcast.
Yeah.
So for me, I want to say the scenes. I want to call out a couple of things. The scenes watching her get all these case files, see these murders for the first time, and it's seeing the family murders, seeing all this is very disturbing. It sets you into this place of this is a fucked up world. And I've seen a lot of people point this out. Um, and I think it's interesting because I didn't really pick up on it, but it's true. In the first 15 minutes of this movie, um, Micah Monroe's partner has his head blown clean off. Like
Yeah.
he's straight up murdered. It is a shocking moment. I didn't expect it. I expected it to go badly. I didn't expect him to be murdered at the door. Um,
Yeah.
And I saw people saying this movie sets you into a place where that's normal because that's not really lingered on. It's shit. So it puts you into this like, and we've talked about it today, like this alternate version of Earth where that is the normal. This is this life they're living is so devoid of humanity where that's a common occurrence, and I think it sets the tone for a truly disturbing reality where there's a bunch of long legs out there. There's serial killers, there's murderers all the time. None of them act surprised by anything that happens in this movie. Like the situation that happens in this movie. And I think that's really interesting because it kind of sets this overall dreariness and it's snowy and rainy, so that kind of stacks onto it. So I think that's really cool. One scene you didn't mention, and I'm pretty sure this happens before the scene of him driving the car, is
Mhm.
right before part two. This movie's split into three parts.
Yeah.
The scene before part two, Micah is in her house. She is looking at stuff. She's had a bad day. She's talked to her mom. Her mom's nagging her about hanging out for her birthday. She gets a very powerful knock on the door, busts her gun out. It's a super tense scene, and the way this movie is shot, it's steady. It's always right behind somebody or right in front of them, and you
Mhm.
don't see anything that's going on beside them. I think it's really cool. It makes me very tense because it kind of, especially when the camera's right in front of them, it kind of subverts that horror trope of he's right behind you type thing. I think that's really cool. Um, but so she goes to the door. Nothing's there. She sees Longlegs outside. Well, the shadow of him.
Mhm.
Super creepy. It's just this again, for me, like horror is getting under your skin, making you feel real unsafe.
Mhm.
And this scene is like the exemplary moment of that. She goes outside. and it's like the camera's in front of her. You can see her house behind her, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? And then you see Longlegs in her house in the light. You know, he's right there. She sees it, goes inside. There's a note left by Longlegs, and it's signed by Longlegs, and it says a pretty graphic, uh, I'm gonna cut off your tits type message. It's
Yeah.
pretty rough. And right as she gets this message, decodes part of the cipher, which leads to her decoding all of the cipher. And I think this string of tense ass horror leading into a breakthrough is such a great sequence, because it's really tense, but then it leads to, holy shit, we're one step closer. And you get this, like, her going through the notes, and it's like, this is this and this is this, and they go to the family who's been murdered, and it's the maggots on the face. And
Yeah.
I do think that the level of disturbing violence was oversold, because I don't think it's that graphic.
Not at all.
Like, that scene of the dead family is probably the worst it gets, and Nick Cage, his nose. Um, but I think it leading to that sequence of her, going to a new murder and be like, oh yeah, this note says this. It's like, you're one step closer. And I just think it's so effective in its, you know, it's like the cookie trail type thing.
Mhm.
Um,
It's procedural. Very
yeah.
procedural.
And as most serial killer movies are, I mean, Zodiac's kind of different, because, that's a true story
True
of
story. Yeah.
a killer that was never caught. That's a bit of a different thing. But, like, you know, you're gonna, and especially, I always find it interesting with serial killer and horror movies where you know exactly who the killer is, and it's just them trying to catch him. Silence of the Lambs does the same thing.
I saw the devil.
I Saw the Devil, yep. Seven does it to an extent, because John Doe is revealed, you know, kind of
Halfway through or something like
halfway
that.
through ish, 2/3 through, whatever. Um, but, like, Nick Cage is the killer, and that's that. And I think it it kind of adds another level of, like, you trying to understand what to expect. But this is my thing, and it's directly to do. We were talking about this right before we hit record, and Trey said, I want you to tell the people this. He said, Osgood Perkins directed the absolute shit out of this movie based on exactly what I had brought up. And it's that Nicolas Cage plays the same character. This is not derogatory, by the way. He
Yeah.
plays the same crazy ass person that he plays in all of his more recent movies. In Mandy, he has the huge freak out. Dream Scenario, it's a bit different, but he's got Vampire's Kiss, the freak out with the alphabet. The Wicker Man, not the bees. It's this extremely over the top thing, and it's very comical every single time. It's so fucking funny. That's his thing. He's locked in on it. He's a fantastic actor. That's his thing, though, and it hits every time. He doesn't always do it. He doesn't do it in Pig. Pig's a phenomenal movie. Um, the way that Osgood Perkins allowed Nick Cage to do that again here, but transform it to this dreary, depraved world that you get a couple moments of a character being awkward that make you laugh, but it's not. You know, Nick Cage has funny horror movies like shit. What's I can't think of it right now, but I'll come back. Oh, Willy's Wonderland. Wally's Wonderland, whatever it's called. Crazy
Willie's
movie.
Wonderland. I like Willie's Wonderland.
Yeah, great movie. And it's Nick Cage being crazy.
Yeah.
But in this world that's so depraved, you see him doing this, and you see the makeup. It doesn't look like him. He's got the chin, the nose, the white face paint. It it takes this safety and something you're used to laughing at, and you know that he's a serial killer, killing children and families, a lot of dead kids.
But
It
is
flips
he?
it well, yeah, okay, he's not, but he's coaxing. Satan's telling him to do it, and whatever. we'll talk about that when we get to the third act discussion. But
I have more things that I completely forgot about that we'll talk about before the
yeah,
third act. I forgot.
so my thing is that it takes this thing that you normally feel safe and fun and you laugh at, and you realize that this isn't a place to laugh, and it's taking this common thing you're so used to, it's this level of safety, and you realize he's probably about to kill a bunch of people, and it just flips that Nicolas Cage persona on itself into a way where it's scary and it's unnerving. That car scene that Jagger was laughing at,
I have a clip of the car scene pulled up if you'd like me to
yeah,
play.
it and like the car scene, the scene when he's in the paint store when he doesn't have any makeup on and he's doing the cuckoo cuckoo, yeah, these things creeped me out so much because I I felt unsafe with Nicolas Cage, which is something that I'm not, usually used to. And it's that unique experience with an actor that you're so used to, and he has his thing. He's a very, you know, predictable actor. And that's again not a bad thing. I love Nicolas Cage. I love his shtick. He's a phenomenal actor, but it's this, thing that you're so expecting that pulls up in a dreary ass horror movie, thriller, whatever you want to call it, and it's like, ah, I feel in danger. And especially with this movie having a couple jump scares, I didn't really expect it to have any jump scares. I was worried for more, let me tell you. So I find that this complaint of Nicolas Cage being goofy is so weird. I mean, I get it, but I think that for me, it's just like a genius way to flip Nick Cage's normal persona on itself, and it's scary. It's so scary. Yeah.
I just quickly would like to play for the audience again. A reminder before I talk about it. This is the car scene if you're interested. Hold on. That's not the right clip. There it is. There it is. There.
Listen to that score.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
that scene creeps me out. I find it very creepy. I find it very unsettling.
And fear is such a subjective thing,
It sure is.
which is what makes a movie like this somewhat interesting to me. And that's a big part of this for me is that while it might seem like I'm really, really like attacking this movie, um, I do really highly respect what it's trying to do and what it's trying to be. And it did work for so many people. I'm on the side of people that think Skinamarink is still the scariest film I've ever seen. So if I was on the other side of the Skinamarink debate, I could understand having a feeling of like, how were you scared of that for Skinamarink? This is that same thing where it's very, very down the middle with a lot of people that are like, yeah, the cinematography was good, but this movie had no effect on me. And that's sort of the side that I'm on. I did love the sound design. I think the sound design was very good. I think the editing was spectacular. I loved the editing. I loved the cinematography. I thought the mystery really intrigued me. Which I do like that. I like when a movie has me sort of hooked. But that Polaroid scene, where sort of like the jump scares and the weird snake thing that popped up a lot, and then it brings you into that moment again, where he's singing that like "Let me in," that thing, and then the mom comes out and she's like, "Who are you?" And
First off,
then
what a
that door
performance by
pans
the
out.
mom.
Yeah.
Oof.
Um, and then she's tied up and she's like screaming like, "Don't hurt my daughter," that whole thing where she's pleading for the daughter not to be spared. And he's like, "All right, well then you have to work for me." When I tell you, if I made a movie, a horror movie, and my plot justification was, so the serial killer, he whispers into a metal ball and then Satan happens. He whispers into a metal ball, and when he whispers into the metal ball and puts it in a doll's head, then everybody in the house wants to kill each other. And I sent that into critics, I'd be ridiculed. I would be told something along the lines of, "You really think you're getting away with that as your justification for a movie where everything is so dark and it all starts to revolve around Satan and like religious horror and nuns, and you justify it with a metal ball that you whisper into?" It is laughable, genuinely laughable, how that is how they justify the whole movie and never add to it. And it gets to the mom because the mom never decides to shoot the guy that's making her kill people. And she has a shotgun registered in her name. She never thinks to kill him. But he never whispered into a ball and gave it to her. So where is the justification of any of that? Where's the justification of having 3 detectives on a serial killer case?
Yep. Okay. Her daughter got a doll though, and Satan. Okay, really quick, I want to ask you a question. I watched the trailers for this movie. I did not follow the, you know, cryptic stuff to the same extent that you did. When the third act hits and the demonic stuff comes out, the Hail Satans, it surprised the shit out of me. I was not expecting it to go this demonic route.
They put that in the trailers, though.
Did they really? Okay.
Yeah, there was a nun screaming in the car, the lady in like the nunnish outfit. Yeah. And that's one of the posters they had up in AMC. They let you
Okay,
know
no,
that
not
it was
AMC.
coming.
Okay, I
Yeah.
didn't expect it. I did my best to stay away. I saw a few trailers for this. So for me, when the demonic aspects are introduced, it scared me. When Nick Cage kills himself and precedes it with "Hail Satan," I had shivers, like chills down my entire body. And I was just sitting there, like shocked, felt so empty watching him slowly kill himself by bashing his own nose into his skull. And, there was a lot of talk of that scene because Micah,
Who had no
they,
reaction to any of it. She's a really good actress,
oh,
but
she's
I
so
don't
good.
totally believe that she had a 170 heart rate in that moment because she looked like, whoa. Either she's really good at playing it off
We did just
or
say
that
that
seems to be
that
dud.
fear is such a subjective thing. Micah
Yeah,
Monroe is a fantastic actress. She's so good in horror films. Like Watcher is phenomenal. It
It
Follows,
Follows is
so good.
incredible.
Yeah, like she's a phenomenal actress, and there was so much hype around that scene. Um, that scene was not what I expected because it's a Longlegs is very casual for the first half of that scene,
Mhm.
and it flips, but like it really surprised me. That's the thing. Like this movie kept like just surprising me with what I was expecting. I saw a couple trailers. I didn't try to pay that much attention because I wanted to be surprised, but like I didn't expect the scene to go so casually. I thought it would be a scene of pure dread, and it turns into a scene of pure dread, but it doesn't start that way. And yeah, I think this movie really subverts like horror tropes in an interesting way because it is a very formulaic movie. to an extent. I think the third act kind of, switches it up into that demonic route when the first two acts are very structured FBI agent hunting serial killer,
Mhm.
has a run in with the killer, gets close, this and that. I I just think it's so effective at keeping you on your toes, and it gets under your skin. And that's why it gets so deep under your skin, the for me, especially not expecting the demonic stuff, I'm sitting there and Nick Cage says Hail Satan, the movie ends with Hail Satan. I'm, you know, my skin is crawling. I'm tense. I'm creeped out. And that's the best kind of horror. Jump scare horror is fun to watch at home with your friends. The best horror is the one that gets you feeling like you need to check the corners of your house. And let me tell you, when I woke up to go to work the day after I saw this movie, I was like, Nick Cage might be in the corner of my living room. Let me double check. I swear to God, like this movie got so deep under my skin. I I was talking to my girlfriend and she's like, "Man, this like that first scene really fucked with you, eh?" And I said, "Yeah, like it creeped me out so bad that I'm still thinking about it." And I see the
Yeah,
pictures on, they've got Longlegs makes 22 million. First off, this movie's crushing it at the box office. Hell yeah, go see
yeah,
horror movies. Go see original horror. That's awesome.
yes.
But like she said, for me, horror, it's like it scares me in the moment and I kind of write it off. And I was like, yeah, like for me, like this thing got under my skin. It creeped the shit out of me. And that's one of the reasons I love it so much is that it has two jump scares that scared me, which, jump scare horror is fun, but it's a very different tone of horror. I think The Conjuring balances it pretty well. The first one, the second one is a lot more jump scares, but the first Conjuring I think balances jump scare horror pretty well. Um, yeah, I just think it's a very effective blend of a lot of types of horror and a lot of thriller elements. Do you want to dive into the third act a bit more and that final scene? The
I
whole
I I would. I'd also like to ask you one other question that I had.
yeah,
When she found out that her mom knew something and she went up to visit her, right? Why didn't they bring her in to talk to her then? Why was there no question of
they
talking to her
tried, did they
then?
not? Did they not say like
No,
they say let's bring your mom in. And
but
then
then
they
she
go to
went
yeah, because her
on the.
mom blows the FBI agent's head off, the Asian one.
That's the second time. But on the first time that she goes there, which is the Polaroid scene, I believe. Yeah,
Okay, well yeah, so the scene after that, yeah, okay, so she goes to Carter and says, this and this, and Carter's like, go see your mom, like bring her in. I think Micah is so invested in this tunnel visioned, I need to do this, and especially now that she knows that she's involved in it, that it becomes this like one man mission. It's stupid
it's
and it's not
stupid.
particularly smart, but when she is realizing that, Longlegs abducted. Also, when she comes into the house in that scene right before the Polaroid scene, I was like, man, that front door looks familiar. And I realized it was the same front door from the first scene. I was like, it's fucking her. It's fucking her. And I was like, oh
I
my God.
I had a moment in my head where I said at the very beginning, when it just cut to Micah, like after the opening credits, I was like, was that her? But then I was like, no, 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 no. That's like a
Hmm.
victim that led right up to what happened. Like that's
Yeah.
what they're talking about in the opening scene. And as it actually happened, I was like, oh my God, wow. But yeah, I guess that makes sense. I guess that makes sense. That's fair
That
just
was I had the same thought process as you, is that it was this
like why
one,
didn't they talk
linear
to her?
thing.
Yeah.
Especially like the way this film shoots the scenes with the abductions and the killings, it's shot like Sinister with the 16 millimeter type film reel, and it's
I
this closed aspect ratio.
yeah.
I think it was really effective. I'm curious what you think.
I have an issue with it.
Yeah.
I love the idea of it, but they kept the same video quality and just changed the aspect ratio. If they put a little bit of grain on it, I would have liked it a lot more.
I
But
I
I did like the idea of it.
I can't. I mean, maybe it was the snow, but I feel like the first scene had some grain on it.
I don't know.
I would
I do like how
love,
they stretched the aspect ratio slowly as it all came back
yeah,
into it. I
I
liked
love
that.
that shit. I love that shit. I love when films play with aspect ratios. Mommy, it's a Canadian French drama.
I've been meaning to watch that one too.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen. I watched it 3 days in a row the first time I watched it. I think it's a masterpiece. But the way it plays with aspect ratios relating to how characters feel, like when they feel closed off, that aspect ratio is like, and as they free themselves, it opens up. I love seeing movies play with aspect ratios. I think it's really effective. And the movie opens, it was like, holy shit, like the whole movie's like this, and it's like, ah, no. I think if they indulged in the the sinister type home movie feel to it even more, it could have been even more effective. I mean, they're not
Yeah.
home movies, so not full blown, the crackling thing, but get that feel even more. It could have been even cooler, but cool
I'd
shit.
like to talk about the ending for a second.
Okay, do you want to start from when the other agent is killed, or you want to jump straight to her Carter's house?
Straight to Carter's house.
Okay.
I have an issue with the ending of Signs, the M Night movie,
Okay.
where Signs has a couple moments that are kind of like, whoa, like the scene where the alien walks past looking at the camera. Couple
Yeah.
things. I like Signs. I have Signs at the same rating I have this movie at. And my biggest issue with Signs is that it ends cool. Longlegs starts to try and end cool, and it made me so mad. And then it ended with her running out of bullets and looking at the doll, and the doll's like, Hail Satan, that thing. Did the doll say Hail Satan, or does the doll start singing Happy Birthday? I can't remember.
I remember.
You do?
I don't remember.
Yeah, the doll says something to her,
Didn't
and
the
then
mom say Hail Satan before she
the mom
dies?
says Hail Satan, then the mom dies, and then
Dude, I swear, I don't. Okay, I might have been tweaking, but when Micah shoots her mom, I swear the bullet hole and blood was across.
you might be right.
I don't know. Again, I
Okay,
want to.
I have no clue.
I want to own it.
But
This movie
I
is gonna
wouldn't.
take its sweet time coming to VOD. Let me tell you, because it's putting up numbers at the box office.
Yeah, and like there's a continuity error in Challengers, and I completely play it off. Like when she stands up in the hotel room, her arms are crossed, and then when it cuts to her hands are at her hips. It bothers me a lot, but I just sort of play it off and act like it doesn't happen because nobody else mentions it. Um, but I think the fact that the way they ended this movie was almost like how a Blumhouse movie would end preparing for a sequel. Like it's sort of how Megan ended too, and I'm not here to defend Megan. I like Megan, but I'm not here to defend it.
That
It's
comparison.
it's it's that
God
idea of
damn it.
like it's that idea of like the mom may be dead, but the doll isn't, which therefore means he's not, which almost makes it look like it's building up to a sequel, which I really hate that idea quite a lot. But that ending, I was sitting there laughing because it was such a change in pace. Because this movie's like I'm aware that even though I didn't find it scary, this movie's trying to be scary. At no point is this movie like, yeah, well, we're gonna joke around a lot. I mean, it is joking, whether it be unironically or ironically joking and funny.
Mhm.
The fact that it ends with the doll singing happy birthday and her with the girl behind her like shaking with the gun, it feels like Signs. It feels like Megan. It it feels like the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. These are movies that I don't mind. It's that same bad Blumhouse ending. And that's what made me so mad about the ending because people are like, and by the way, the ending. And I've heard a couple people say the ending sucks, which is the side that I'm on. They did not need to end this movie like 2022 Blumhouse style. They really didn't need to do that. But they did. And the fact that I was ready for this number one to be scary and it wasn't, I was mad enough at that. And then I was ready for at least an impactful ending. The fact that it wasn't that either, I'm mad. I was mad.
Okay,
I
I have a thing to say if you are done with your spiel
Yeah, I'm
for a
done.
little bit. Because okay, the performances by Carter and his wife in this scene.
Are so bad.
What?
Are
No. Okay, watching his wife try to keep that smile on her face because she knows, like, that's it. Like, I'm fucked. That's what happens.
Yeah,
And she breaks it for 1 second to this, like, absolute emotional devastation on her face. It shook me. I knew what was coming. She knew what was coming. My emotions are reflecting exactly what the characters are feeling. This pure sense of dread that no matter what Micah does, unless she kills every single person in this moment, which I'll get to the mom's monologue in a second, there's nothing she can fucking do. You're about to listen to a family, like a husband and wife, murder each other. It, it, the just the facial expressions of the mom made me so uncomfortable and so sad. Like it
yeah.
really put me in this headspace of pure dread, and like it's forces beyond a serial killer. You kind of, again, this is my experience with it because I wasn't locked in with the dude. I could see you
Yeah.
getting winded up. um uh you for me, I didn't expect the demon stuff. So it's how is Longlegs doing this? He's there, is what's going on here? But then it's like, what's going on, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And that is pure dread. That is, you can't stop it unless Micah kills every single person. Her mom
Have you seen
gives this.
Funny Games?
I have, yeah.
Okay, I just want to know for my thing. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so I thought the monologue from the mom, she's sitting there. It's this story about how it's unconditional love for her daughter to the point where she is committing serial killings on families. It's horrific. And you see this flicker in Micah's face where it's like, mom might be spitting. Like, I kind of I thought this movie was going to end with her letting her mom keep doing what she's doing. I genuinely thought, because you see this conflict in Micah's face, and she's such a great actress. Like, she portrays her emotions very well, even though she's quite a stoic character in this movie. I just thought this entire scene was so overwhelmingly dreadful that there was just like, there's nothing you can do. You're about to watch a family be murdered. The mom is like, I did all of this for you so that you wouldn't be fucked. You wouldn't, you know, be one of Longlegs' victims. And I think it's so intense. It's like weirdly puts you in this, oh, the mom has been doing it the whole time. I'm like, that's kind, but like, I thought this whole sequence was an insanely dreadful time. It had me so fearful and just scared. Not scary scared, but like scared to watch what I know is about to happen. You know?
yeah.
I know you don't feel the same way as me, but like that's
I understand
what
where you're coming from.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I felt in this entire sequence.
yeah. I got you.
And for
I
me,
would
the
like to
ending,
quick. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I love, her. I thought she was gonna kill the kid. She probably should have, like, whatever. I think
Yeah.
it's, a bit cheesy that she grabs the kid and runs away, but like, her just saying fuck it and killing everybody, coming to her senses because she's a very smart person. Kill her mom, kill Carter, get the fuck out of there. And then it just cutting to this devil music. I thought, okay, stick with me on this. The end credits for this movie are like heavy metal rock music. It's like upbeat rock music.
Yeah. Songs are
My
bangers.
brain clicked to this thing that Maxine talks a lot about, and it's religious extremists saying that rock music is devilish and devil-like. And so I was talking with a couple people in the Real Talk Discord, and they're like, "Man, did you guys find really the end credit music really jarring?" And for me, I thought it was like my brain went to that whole Maxine thing of the devil is connected to rock music. I might
Um,
be off base there, but that's just kind of like what I felt.
I want you to look at a video. When we're done with the podcast,
Yeah,
I have a video I want you to look at. There's a guy on TikTok named Chuck. He has like the whole thing. Like, have you ever seen him where it's like, I'm Chuck. I'd love to be your movie guy. That guy.
maybe
It's
I would
like
have to see.
Charlie Napalm is his account name. I'm gonna send you his
Yeah,
account
okay.
uh on TikTok, and he has a video explaining how a childhood friend of his was a serial killer, or not a serial killer.
Jesus.
How a childhood friend of his killed all of his neighbors, the whole family that of in the neighboring house. And how it was how that kid was babysitting him the night before. They found that he had been looking into their bedrooms, and when he woke up, the whole house was like wrapped up, and there was like blood on the windows. And then when they brought him into court, he blamed it on the rock music.
Hmm.
So I think you're really on to something. I just need to send you that video.
Yeah, I
Because
want to check that out
here
because
it
like
is.
the movie doesn't talk about that stuff, but having seen Maxine like a week and a half before or whatever, it's like that kind of thing was fresh in my brain, you know?
Yeah, I'm gonna send it in the fellas so that Trey can watch it as well.
Cool.
'Cause it's a really, really powerful video. But I think you're onto something with that for sure. Also, that song's a banger. It's a good
Yeah.
song. But I do think you're onto something with that. But man, I don't even know how to begin to explain how mad the ending made me. Also, once they explain everything, and Carter's wife gave a good performance, I really did not like Carter's performance.
Mhm.
That was my
Because
biggest.
he was almost the comic relief character in this movie.
Yeah, and in that scene, he's sort of like like we get he's possessed, he does not need to be growling. And
Shit.
for a little bit of that scene, it almost seems like he's like
Yeah.
I didn't like that. It felt a little bit over the top. But that's my issue with this movie. A lot of when it tries to be scary feels like it's going over the top to a point that it reaches comedy. And that is my issue with Longlegs. My issue with Longlegs is the fact that Nick Cage sings, the fact that they try and put comedy in through one character's autistic inability to have interactions with people, the fact
Hmm.
that the explanation for everything is ridiculous. The fact that he's growling at the camera like um what's his name does in Fast Times in that scene where he's playing football.
Hmm.
Like the fact that it ends with a Blumhouse-ish ending. And I understand that this is going to work differently for everybody. It's the same as Brighter Summer Day is. It's the same as like Skinamarink is. It's movies that will be different for everyone, and I respect that wholeheartedly. I love that. I think that is a true feat of filmmaking. But unfortunately, I am on the side of the spectrum that is a large side that just it felt very ineffective for me.
Yeah.
But I totally
I've
understand
really
where
enjoyed it's so funny. You were like, yeah, this can be like a 20-minute conversation. We've been going at it for an hour. Like
you're
this movie is really fun to talk about because, you know, you can
yeah.
appreciate a lot of it. And
I still need
yet
to
I
finish my
disagree.
watch
Like
list.
yeah, we'll bust through the rest of the watch list. Fargo and Trainspotting will be quick. Fargo is going to be real quick because Trey is the favorite on this, and you know I like it.
Trey gave his
But
quote.
yeah, I you know anytime a movie's hyped up on TikTok, and I fucking hate TikTok movie culture a lot most of the times. the comments on the Longlegs ads are like, "This movie was so fucking boring, and it's not scary." This is not a boring movie. You can think it's over the top to the point where it's comical. That's fine. This is not a
Yeah.
boring movie. The interest, like the mystery is intriguing, but it's like this. This is such a stupid movie, and it's like this is the most like insightfulest. This is film bro talk. I don't give a shit, but like I hate seeing those comments so much. They're like, you know,
We can be
it's
civil
almost like,
about it.
yeah, it's almost like, oh, I'm trying to be different. Okay. Yeah, okay. We'll cut long legs off. We'll be talking about it again with Trey on Friday because
I don't have
we'll,
anything else to say. I got it all out.
yeah, no, we'll get his opinion on some of the points that
Yeah.
both of us had. Okay. How about I'll bust through? I don't have that many watch lists left, and then you can bust through.
All like sort of quick fire 'em, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Quick fire. Trainspotting Fargo double feature. I watched Columbus by Koganda. This
Yes,
was
I've heard great
sublime.
things.
Oscar, shout out Oscar, Shot by Shot podcast, recommended this to me. He watched it and he said, "Evan, how have you not seen this yet?" So I immediately watched it. I loved it. It's a very meditative slice of life, coming of age life. It's beautiful. Loved it. 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. It's on YouTube for free. Go watch it. And then I watched Bay of Blood. This movie's fucking insane. Italian horror gets the gore so right. This movie, it's very slow in the second act at times, but holy shit, the kills are so good. The blood is insane. The ending. Okay, spoilers for Bay of Blood for the next minute and a half. So after everything's wrapped up, the husband and wife are about to leave on this car trip, and their kids are playing with a shotgun, and they accidentally kill both the parents, and they walk up to the bodies, and they're like, "Man, they're really good at playing dead." And then the movie ends. And then the movie ends. It's fucking insane. Yeah, this is a ton of fun. It's super goofy. Like the plot. Um,
You wait,
this
explain the plot to them.
yeah, this matriarch kills herself at the beginning, and the entire family wants the money, so they just start killing each other. It's awesome. Super goofy. The gore's amazing. Yeah, it's not amazing. Like, it's not a great movie, but I had a lot of fun with it. Really, really fun time. And then last night, I rewatched Top Gun Maverick. I've been a notorious hater of this movie for a long time. I had a
Yeah.
horrific cinema experience. The lady behind me, not only she didn't silence her phone, she answered her phone to have phone calls 3 times during an IMAX showing of Top Gun Maverick. And I came out of Top Gun and I said, "Man, that third act was fucking awesome, but I did not really like that movie."
Yeah,
I
dude. I
rewatched it
don't
last night. Um, I made a plate of chicken nuggets with some Ruffles chips.
Yes.
Sat down, watched Top Gun Maverick. It's so good. It the romance I don't give a shit about. I haven't seen the first Top Gun really. It's just a masterclass in action. It's everything's real when it comes to the plane stuff, so it just feels so immersive. And the fact that they're flying real planes, like, it's just so intense. Like, it's just a blast. The pacing's really good. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes. It goes by really quick. I'm so glad I rewatched it. I had a blast. I'll probably, this will be a throw on when I'm in the mood for an action movie while I'm doing dishes or cooking dinner or whatever. Like, yeah, it's a really fun movie. I'm glad I rewatched it. The action's sick.
Fair
Shout out Glenn
enough.
Powell. Glenn Powell's sick. Yeah, love Glenn Powell.
All right, I'm gonna
Okay,
have to
that's
really
it. Yeah.
speed through these because I've got a lot.
Mhm.
Young and Handsome, A Night with Jeff Garlin stand-up special, 4 stars. That guy's funny. Curb Your Enthusiasm, great show.
Yep.
Um, Bo Burnham, Inside, 1.5. I really could not be bothered. I don't like Bo Burnham's style. I didn't find this particularly funny. I didn't find it particularly entertaining. Songs are, I mean, it's an interesting take. That's sort of his thing, but
One
not my
of the
vibe.
most raw and intimate depictions of mental health ever put into media. It's a masterpiece. It's one of the best pieces of media ever created. I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
Trainspotting, 4 stars. We'll get to that.
Heck yeah.
Um, I saw I saw the TV Glow 5 stars. I watched this with Toby because it's not available in the UK at all. Like I'm
Yeah, I
able to
saw
stream
him.
it in the UK.
He followed me and then he liked a bunch. He liked both of my TV Glow reviews. I was like, he must have
Uh,
just watched it.
yeah, it's not available in the UK, so I was like, hey, if you can't watch it, it's so good that you just have to watch it. So I'll show it to you. And then we watched partied it, and he loved it. We had like a full conversation about what it all means. Really great
Heck
stuff.
yeah.
5 stars, 100 out of 100. I think it's exceptional. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 4.5. I haven't seen this in
Is that the
years.
Depp one or the original?
Um, I'm talking about the original, the
Oh,
71.
okay. I haven't seen that one.
I hadn't seen it in a while. But I had seen a video saying like, if you want to be really like scared,
Yeah, I've heard it's fucked up.
watch the scene where they're on like a train in the tunnel and you'll see a man actually like going insane. It's a great like thing. And I was like, I don't remember that at all. So I watched it and I was like, oh my god, this movie's actually really good. So I gave it
Oh
four and a
yeah.
half.
Hell yeah.
I then proceeded to watch The Holy Mountain. Um, because
Okay, we'll talk about it quick. We've been yapping a lot today, but go ahead.
I saw a video that someone made, like a slideshow on TikTok, that was movies that matched my freak. Was
Fuck
the
yeah.
person's slideshow. So I thought that was really funny, and I saw the Holy Mountain on that list, and I was like, I'm interested because the poster alone, like
It's
the poster
crazy.
alone is startling. So I was like, I have to see this because the more you look into this movie, it's like, was it Travis Scott that made like a music video parodying The Holy Mountain?
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me though.
Yeah, so something with something, and yeah, dude, talk about a freak matcher. That's what this movie is. It's a weird,
It's a fever
weird.
dream.
It's a fever dream of a movie. Um, it's maybe the most nudity I've ever seen in like 2 hour long movie. It's just so
Yeah.
strange.
Dude, there's this
Um,
fucking sequence where they're okay. I'm pretty sure it's this movie because I did like a binge of really weird movies like this at one point.
yeah, dude.
But there's this sequence with all these sex machines,
Yep. Yeah,
and yeah, there's
that's it.
this sequence of these two cars having sex. It's so funny.
I
Oh my
think
god.
that's this one.
Yeah,
I
dude,
think
this
so.
movie is so weird.
There's so much going on at all times that I can't even remember, but that doesn't sound
Yeah.
incorrect at all. Um, yeah, man, what a movie this is.
Was this your first? I don't really know how to say his name. Like Jodorowsky
Jodorowsky.
movie?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, same. I really want to watch the documentary about his Dune movie.
I want to see El Topo. Like, that's
Hell
what I
yeah.
want to see. But my God, the thing with the spiders. Oh
Oh,
no, no,
dude,
no,
it's
no,
the
no.
worst. If you don't like spiders, which I don't, I fucking hate spiders. There's an entire sequence in the third act of this movie where they're climbing the mountain and this man is covered in big ass tarantulas and he's
Um,
screaming. It's awful. It's awful. I fast forwarded through it. It's fucking awful. Yeah.
but yeah, to give you guys sort of like a what this movie is that you're getting into, a guy rides a hook up into a giant monument and it brings him into a rainbow room where a guy is sitting with two naked goat people.
Yep.
And then later on in the movie, there's a scene where a guy has two tiger faces attached to his chest that shoot milk.
Yeah.
That's the Holy Mountain. So yeah, well worth a
It's not.
watch. I had it at a 5 for like 2 hours, and the more I thought about it, the
Yeah.
more disgusting I felt. So I brought it down to a 93, a 4.5. It's
I
some it.
I just looked at my letterbox and I have it at a 3. I raised it to a 4 because it's not a movie that you can like confidently give any type of analysis on, but it is a genuine fever dream. The first 20 minutes there's this scene of these Mayan temples covered in like geckos and lizards and he just blows it up and he used real lizards for it. Like it's fucking nuts. This movie is so weird. It's so insanely over the top, chaotic, gross. Yeah, you should watch it. It's worth like watch
Like,
some of it. At least watch some of it. It's worth watching like an hour.
yeah, but this movie's certified freak. So like, if
Dude,
that's your thing,
I just
then
checked the runtime. I definitely thought this was like 3 hours long. It's not even 2 hours. That's crazy. It's 114 minutes.
it's poorly paced. I'll give you that much.
Oh
It's
yeah,
definitely not well paced at all, but it's so weird and entertaining that you don't mind. My mom had been dying to see Civil War, because she had seen
heck
the
yeah,
trailer for it. She said it's a firm 3.5. I have Civil War at 5. I
yeah.
absolutely adore this film. What do you have Civil War at?
I had it at a 5, and then I rewatched it and dropped it to a 4.5. I love Civil War. I think it's fucking awesome. It's my I have it over Ex Machina. It's my second favorite Alex Garland movie.
Yeah,
Annihilation number one. I think Civil War is insanely intense. I love the neutrality of it. I think it's really interesting.
yeah,
Because you watch the trailer and it's like, Texas and California have formed an alliance, and it's obviously this red versus blue cut and dry, and that is not what the movie is.
absolutely not. There's
I
so much more to it.
I think the I'll keep this as vague as possible for spoilers. The death at the end of the movie um is very goofy with the camera. I think that
Yeah,
scene is pretty goofy, and it doesn't quite match the freak. The Jesse Plemons scene is phenomenal, and the aftermath with the forest on fire, I think that scene is incredible.
yeah,
I saw people critiquing the music choices of that scene. I think
yeah.
it's amazing. I don't
I've
really
seen a
get
lot
the
of people critique the music in this
yeah.
movie. I
I love
strongly
Civil
disagree.
War. It's paced really well. It's super. The action sequences are insanely intense. Yeah, Civil War's sick.
After Civil War, I was sort of tired last night. I wanted to watch Shogun Assassin, but I couldn't get to it. So I ended up watching Knocked Up. I love Knocked Up. This was my second watch of it. I have it at a 3.5. If Seth Rogen's in a comedy movie, I'm pretty guaranteed to enjoy it at
Yeah,
least.
I probably have
Um,
it around there. I haven't seen it in forever.
yeah, and then
That
I
whole
watched
universe is
Fargo.
great.
What?
That whole universe is great. Of just like even This Is 40. I don't think is that bad.
I haven't seen This Is 40.
It's a sequel, like a
Oh, oh,
ish. Like the characters from Knocked Up are in it.
oh, oh, gotcha, 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 gotcha. But then I watched Fargo, which we'll get into. So
Let's
yeah, Train Spotting. We're already two
yeah
hours 10. So
yeah. I who would have thought it would crack our TV Glow episode, or we still haven't beaten the Film Scoop co-op episode or do like collaboration episode. I wish you were there for that,
how
James.
long was that?
It was over 3 hours. We talked about game night, and
Oh my god.
it was so much fun. We'll have them back soon. I was
Crack
talking to
4.
Cash about potentially doing a cool guys doing cool shit at night, and we talk about like Drive and Collateral and some Michael Mann stuff. Um, yeah, Cash and Carl are awesome. We'll hopefully collaborate with them again. Yeah, Train Spotting. Was this your first watch of it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, for
Um,
me, I saw this movie when I was 13 maybe, like probably
really.
around your age, 13, 14, and I hadn't seen it since then, and I remembered two things from Trainspotting when I went back into it. I remembered the opening scene with Ewan McGregor's monologue, which is fucking awesome. It is so
Yeah,
juice filled. Choose this, choose this. It's so good. It's such a great sequence. And I remembered the dead baby. How could you forget?
yeah.
It's a horrific sequence of the baby like climbing on the ceiling, and
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
and right when the baby dies and they're trying to calm the mom down and they give her the heroin shot to calm. Oh, it's brutal. I'll give a little spiel because I'm curious what you think about this. I have this really weird relationship with drug movies. Like Requiem for a Dream or
Yeah,
Trainspotting, stuff like that, where they make me extremely uncomfortable. I really have a hard time watching them. Have you seen Breaking Bad?
I have seen Breaking Bad. Yeah.
The first time that Jesse does heroin and it's that scene of him floating up, you know, I
Yeah.
hate that. I skip it every time I watch Breaking Bad. It just makes me feel so uncomfortable and sad. So I have this like weird relationship with movies about hard drugs that make me not want to rewatch them. I wasn't looking forward to rewatching Trainspotting, but this movie is electric. Like the way it's told, it's super fast paced. The voiceover is great. Ewan McGregor is amazing. It's this disgusting, it shows you what it is right from the beginning. Ewan McGregor. It's also very surreal and trippy. Like he goes
Yeah,
into the poop bathroom and then climbs into it, and it's like this vast ocean. Like it's very surreal at times,
yeah,
and I think that's what makes for it to be such a unique movie because it's funny and weird and trippy, but also, I mean, you care about him, and like you don't care about his friends as much. I think I gave this I'm pretty close to you. 4 or 4.5. I really like it.
yeah. Um,
But yeah, so like I think Trainspotting's a really effective movie that shows how intoxicating and daring heroin can be. It's I love the line where he's like, "There's last hits and there's last hits, but which last hit is this gonna be?" It's a really interesting movie because they talk about how awful heroin is and they talk about wanting to get off it, but it's one last hit before I do this, or it's one last hit before I do this, and it's once the family takes him in, and it's like he's like, take me to a clinic because he wants methadone at least, and they're like, nope, you're staying right fucking here, and that's right before the baby scene, and I think it mixes the horrors because it's a pretty horrific movie, but
yeah,
it's a good blend of comedy and drama.
yeah. So, I mean, the big drug movies are this and Requiem for a Dream for a lot of people, right? When it comes to like the hard drug movies that are upsetting, but this has comedy mixed into it, while Requiem for a Dream is endlessly
Yeah,
hopeless. Um, do I prefer Requiem for a Dream? I do. I think Requiem for a Dream is a better film, in my opinion.
it
But then
probably
again,
is, but I haven't rewatched it since like I probably saw Trainspotting and Requiem for the Dream like around the same time. And I love
yeah.
Aronofsky, and I've seen his entire filmography since then. Will I go back to it? I don't know, but you're probably
My
right that
thing
it's
is that
better.
I double featured Requiem for a Dream and American History X in one day. Um, so like it was a rough watch. I ended up coming back to Requiem for a Dream. Have I seen it 3 times? I've seen it either two or three
Jesus.
times. Um, and I respect Requiem for a Dream. I don't enjoy it in the slightest, but I really respect it
Yeah.
wholeheartedly. I think it's one of the greatest lessons in cinematography ever. Um, I think it's incredible, but I do prefer it a little bit to this because
It's so crazy. Sorry, I don't I go ahead. I'll tell you
yeah, yeah,
after.
yeah, no, 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 good,
Um, it's called Lux Eterna. The song that plays at the end of Requiem for a Dream as all of them are kind of meeting their fates.
yeah,
Um, that song, I own it on iTunes. And I used to listen to it while I'd play like Black Ops 2 Zombies because it was such an intense song. It feels so weird because the last act of that movie is absolutely horrific. I will
yeah.
never get Jared Leto shooting heroin into that big black rotting hole in his arm out of my head. I will never get it out of my head. I was talking to you should talk to him in the Real Talk Discord, Remy. He has recommended me so many incredible films. Horror and coming of age are the two things he loves, and he just felt like sends them to me like pipeline. But he's like, I can't do movies with needles in them, and I said, yeah, don't watch Requiem for a Dream. Like you definitely don't watch it.
Oh my god, I'm remembering that whole black hole thing right now, so I
It's
apologize
yeah,
if I look zoned out. It's all flooding back to me. Man, that's an upsetting movie, dude.
yeah. Trainspotting's not that upsetting. It's
Trainspotting's
upsetting in
not
a
that
different
upsetting.
way.
It has dark scenes and it has somewhat hopeless scenes, but there are always like intermediate funny moments that pick it back
Yeah.
up.
I'll be curious to talk to you about it because it has this Snatch and Lock, Stock, Guy Ritchie feel to it with the monologue, the Ewan McGregor monologue, the fast-paced thing.
Yeah,
That's very Guy Ritchie-esque to me, and that's one of the things I love so much. And it's like the enjoyability is like because the dialogue is really smart, and it's like
yeah.
it's so well written. Yeah,
I'm excited to see Lockstock. Although I'm
oh, dude,
in
it's so
fear
funny.
that I'm gonna hate it.
Snatch is better, but Lock, Stock is awesome. You should double feature them. If you like Lock, Stock, watch Snatch like very quickly
Right
after.
after. Okay. Um. Yeah, I like this film. I enjoyed it a lot more than I do Requiem for a Dream, but I do not think it's as good of a film as Requiem for a Dream is. I have it at
Yeah,
a firm four. That's not. I don't know. I like this has a Criterion release, I believe.
yeah. I mean, that doesn't surprise me. It's a pretty famous film. Like a lot, like most people know it. I haven't seen the sequel. I remember
Trainspotting, like T2. Yeah,
T2 Trainspotting. I think it's kind of weird that it exists, but you know,
yeah.
I
I
don't
couldn't
remember it
like
getting awful reviews. So
the ending of this was kind of clever. I think it ended pretty well.
yeah,
Um, I don't see it. I don't get that.
yeah. Like it's still
Um,
directed by Danny Boyle. It's got a 67 on Metacritic, 7.2 IMDb.
so it's probably not terrible,
It's
but it's
probably not
also
terrible. It's
probably
probably a 3.5. Like
yeah, it's probably fine.
it's not the worst legacy sequel out there. Yeah, I'm with you on Trainspotting. I'm probably a little bit higher, but not by much. I agree with you that Requiem for a Dream is a better movie, and Requiem for a Dream was like they should just show it in schools as like a precautionary thing to not do drugs. And they never would because of how graphic it is, and um, but
Showing a seventh grade class Requiem for a Dream is a
that'd be
great idea.
crazy. Yeah, that'd be insane. But yeah, Trainspotting's it's it's weird to say that it's fun and entertaining, but it is
But it
like
is. It
it's
is.
so weirdly comedic, and I I love the scene when they're in court and it's like Ewan McGregor's just spewing shit, and it's like, oh, I can't wait to go to rehab and free myself from this vicious disease. And the very next scene, he's shooting heroin up. Like, it's oddly comedic in a good way. So I think it balances the humor really well. Yeah, I think it belongs on this list for sure. Again, I
Yeah.
keep I keep basing all of my ratings on are from now on until for the rest of the list are these better than Blade Runner because Blade Runner's like 20 spots behind this shit and it just makes me mad. So no, it shouldn't be this high, or maybe Blade Runner should be higher.
I think that if this is on a 250 list, it needs to be like 240 to 250.
Yeah, it's
It's
definitely
minimal, but it could make a list.
yeah. I would if I saw this in the 200 to 250 range, I would not bat an eye.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be sub 150. I don't really. We're like in the 125 to 130 range right now. I think.
No, we're not.
Aren't we?
Gone with the Wind is 160. We're like 160 something, 170.
Transponding is 170. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were way further up. Um,
No.
so I guess
On
it's
with
not
that.
that far off. Again, like the fact that Prisoners is 3 spots above this is like kind of crazy. It is
Yeah,
better than Fargo, though. I'll tell you that.
it is better than Fargo. What do you have
What a
Fargo at?
transition! I have Fargo at a 4. I think Fargo's hysterical. It's a fun movie. I think the performances carry it. I don't find the plot that
The
what
plot
a
is
transition.
very uninteresting.
Transition, you know. I'll pat myself on
Yeah.
the back for that one. Let's get into Fargo. Yeah, I find the plot pretty generic. You know, it's a fun plot. You know, guy needs money, kidnap his own wife to get the money. You know, rich guy.
Yeah.
I think the performances and the direction are what stand out here. You know, the Coen brothers are so good at directing their actors. I love the Coen brothers. I have a lot like Inside Llewyn Davis is one of my favorite movies ever. I think it's just a masterpiece. The Tragedy of Macbeth is a fantastic movie. No Country for Old Men, which we'll get to at some point, probably in like a year, because it's like top 10, I think. It's phenomenal. Um, yeah. So I think that what carries Fargo is Frances McDormand, um, William
And
H
Steve
Macy,
Buscemi.
and shout out Peter Stormare, dude. He's so good in this.
Wait, who's that?
He's Steve Buscemi's partner.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
So
great.
I don't know if you've played the Dark Picture. Is it? Oh, no, Until Dawn. Yeah, it is Until Dawn.
Yes, I've played Until
He
Dawn.
plays
Yes.
the therapist in Until Dawn.
Really? That
Yeah.
like really deep voiced guy that asks
Yeah.
you all this stuff?
That's
Yes.
Peter Stormare. I love him. He is so fucking weird and so creepy, and I think he fits the weird vibe so well. Like, I think he brings, like, he bounces off Steve Buscemi
Steve
really well,
Buscemi
because he's a lot
perfectly.
more of a serious character than Steve Buscemi. Um, I love the scene when it's like, I'm hungry. It's like, let's go fuck first, and then we'll get food. It's like they go to the hotel that bangs strippers, and then they get food. Like, it. The movie banks on its characters being funny, and I find that's like the same with The Big Lebowski. Like, the Coen brothers make a simple plot, it's a heist movie, or it's this, or it's, it's a folk singer trying to make it. The plots are very simple, and then the actors push the shit out of it. And Fargo's no different. I like it. I think it's funny and it's enjoyable. I don't think it's insane. Trey loves Fargo.
Yeah. He
Let me
has
pull
this
up this
five
quote.
stars.
Yeah. Quote, Trey has a massive hard on for the Coen brothers. That's why he loves Fargo. Yeah, Trey. So I get it. I also love the Coen brothers. I don't find that the plot hooks me as much as the other movies. Um, the wood chipper scene is infamous, and Frances McDormand is a classic here with her darn tootins, and William H. Macy is so awkward and pathetic in this movie. He's so pathetic. It's hysterical.
William H. Macy's amazing. Have you seen
Yeah,
Shameless?
I watched some of Shameless, and then that stuff I told you about made me stop watching Shameless, because it was like, yeah, I can't watch it anymore.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, but I love William H. Macy. He's amazing. I wonder. Yeah, he got nominated for supporting. Yeah, that's fair. I'm surprised
Did
Steve
he get
Buscemi didn't.
nominated for Boogie Nights? Probably not. He was amazing in Boogie Nights.
Oh, he's so good. Yeah. Sorry, I've been yapping. Why don't you go ahead?
I
Because
don't have
you
really
don't like
anything to
this
say about
movie.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of dry in my opinion. This was my first Coen Brothers movie.
That's so
Um,
insane to me.
yeah. Have I seen No Country? I can't remember. If I have, it's been long enough.
You
I
need
gotta
to double
rewatch it.
feature when we do the Bellatar. I can tell you right now that I'm gonna love that Bellatar Macbeth movie, because I fucking love Macbeth. It's my favorite Shakespeare story, and I've read the actual play like many times.
I think I have seen No Country. And it's coming back to me now. I think I have because it was like at the beginning of when I started doing like watching films. I watched anything that was attached to like the Film Bro accounts where it was like, guys, this is the greatest film you'll ever see. American Psycho, Fight Club, that type of
Yeah,
thing. And
sure.
I did see No Country there, and I had No Country on DVD, so I have seen No Country. Yeah.
That's such an
Um.
interesting conversation, because like, and I feel like we'll probably have it in a couple weeks when we talk about Prisoners, because
Yeah, dude.
you've got the best acting performances of all time's TikToks, and they've got that dramatic music, and it's all these clips, and then you get, "Where's my fucking daughter?" from Prisoners, and
I've
that's the thing. It's
abandoned
like,
my child.
I've abandoned my boy. Yeah, like, sure, it's a film bro movie, but it's fucking awesome. It's amazing. That
Yeah.
doesn't change the fact.
Yeah, like American Psycho and Fight Club are like the and Taxi Driver are the big film bro
Yeah.
movies. I love all of those. They're
American Psycho is interesting because Okay, this is gonna come off so pretentious.
No, no,
I
no.
don't
Go
really
ahead.
care. Okay,
I probably said it before.
American Psycho is hysterical. Patrick
Yes.
Bateman, the aura is crazy. I find that maybe the people that ride that movie as a film bro movie don't really understand that it's a parody and a satire,
Oh my God. It's, in my opinion,
because
like
it's
top
maybe the
five
best
satire.
satire ever. It's insane. American Psycho is a full blown comedy, and
Yeah.
it I I love that it's a film bro movie. That's hilarious that people are like Patrick Bateman has the aura and he's just like a Chad, but like nobody ever talks about the satire in it.
So where were you
God,
when
we
the
gotta do it,
murder happened? Oh,
dude. We gotta do an
Africa,
episode on it.
brave
We gotta
Africa.
do an episode on American Psycho. It's so
Oh,
fucking good.
please. But I guess outside of No Country, which again I remember maybe 5 minutes of,
Yeah.
um, this is really my first Coen Brothers that I've been like locked in for, and not a great start. I have this at a 2.5. It just feels really like cut and dry, like very bland, in my opinion. It has the beginning, middle, and end that you think it does, starting based on the first 5 minutes. Like, this is the most predictable movie ever. And I think that that is sort of what it's supposed to be, as like at the jab of, at the like darn tootin' Canada jokes that they make in this movie. It's supposed to be
Uh,
as like predictable
yeah.
and like cookie cutter as it is, and I get that that's the joke of it, but that didn't really work too much for me. But that's all I have to say. It's really, I have no real stance on it. It's a down the middle shot, and I
Yeah.
am. We're gonna cross 2.5 hours by the end of this. Oh my God!
Yeah. I'm not gonna, disagree with you on any of it. Holy shit, we have an insane double feature.
Wait, what?
Um, we have No Country for Old Men and Yojimbo. No Country for Old
Oh,
Men is 145 ish, so it's not too far away.
dude, Yohim is
149. Yeah,
incredible.
coming up,
I
Yojimbo. That's
love
gonna be
that
sick.
movie.
Um, yeah, I'm with you. I really enjoy Fargo. I think it's a fun movie. I think it's overrated. I maybe went in with too high expectations because I was like expecting what Trey has in it. But it's, again, it's worth a watch for me. Like it's an entertaining movie. The performances are so funny.
Yeah, the
That's
screenplay is
and
very amusing.
Yeah, the screenplay is good. Like that's the thing. Like with Coen Brothers movies, is you're gonna get great performances no matter what. Like Hail Caesar, which is a movie that I really want to watch, but is known as a movie meant for people who work in Hollywood exclusively because it's all just inside jokes, and got bombed by. It has awful reviews.
Wait,
Probably
wait, wait,
has
wait.
sick performances. It's yeah, Hail Caesar. It's I
Hail
haven't seen.
Caesar.
Yeah,
Lights, camera, abduction. When a Hollywood star mysteriously disappears in the middle of filming, the studio sends their fixer to get him back. Set in the 50s, the story was inspired by the career of Eddie Mannix.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
this is gonna be inside jokes for sure.
Yeah, like Tyler from Real Talk has it at a 1.5. Like people love it or hate it. But you're gonna get good performances. So like I always think a Coen Brothers movie is worth watching. It's kind of like Wes Anderson. You
Yeah,
know the style. You're gonna get into what you're gonna get into. We can wrap it up there. This has been a big yap sesh. Long legs
yeah.
talk went a long time, a lot longer than 20 minutes, but I'm happy we talked about it. I'll be curious to see if any of your opinions change if you rewatch it at some
I'll
point.
rewatch it when it comes to physical. So whenever
Yeah,
that is.
yeah. Look forward to those upcoming episodes. Well, Friday's going to be interesting. Am I going to be a massive hater for the next 5 weeks, or am I
Hope
just going to
not.
hate for Santantango? We'll see. I'm
Props to
excited.
Edgar, dude. What he do to get into this? I don't
I'm
know.
excited. We'll see.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
maybe he'll change your
Um,
mind. Who
yeah.
knows?
Also, really quick, I did start Yee Yee. I watched 45 minutes of it, and then Trey called me to talk about Mindhunter, so I paused it to start Mindhunter. I
You're
was
right.
really enjoying it. Yeah.
Dude, I've just got this thing sitting in my room that like
Oh hell yeah.
I am big on this movie. So yeah,
Yeah.
what'd you think of it?
I watched about 45 minutes of it before Trey called me and was like, "Tell me about Mindhunter," and so I was like, "Okay, I'll watch Mindhunter. I'll restart it when I go back to it." But I was really enjoying it. Really, really enjoying it.
Yeah,
I
man.
love the dynamic. I love the family dynamics. Really interesting. Edward Yang, cool director. I don't know any of his other movies except for those two, so be
There's
interesting
one
to.
called like I'm gonna butcher the name of it, so I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah.
Mahjong? Mahjong?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll watch it maybe this weekend. I'm home alone this weekend, so I'll get to it then. But yeah, look forward to those upcoming episodes. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify. Um, like,
Tune in for
subscribe,
the
comment.
Bellatar watch through. Tune in for
Yeah,
Satin Tango.
shout out to my boys who really fucked me over here. We could have had another Jeff Profit. We're never doing another write-in because Jeff Profit's gonna win
Yeah,
again.
no, we need to give like two options from now on so that it's not like
Yeah,
so
maybe
all
we'll
over
do a
the place.
bracket. Maybe we'll do a bracket. We'll narrow it
Maybe. And
down.
then like
Yeah.
top 5 directors will be our next 5 or something like that. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah, so we'll see you on Friday or Saturday, whenever. One of
Whatever.
those 2 days.
For
Thanks for watching.
some Bellatar movie. We don't
Yeah.
know yet. We'll
Hopefully
figure
the
it out.
first two. We'll figure it out. All right. We'll catch
All
you
right.
later.
See ya.
All right.